Hey everybody, welcome. Hope you appreciated that little smiling preview of tonight's show. Now and then we hit the wrong button. It is cold, just going to bring it up because I figured I based the whole show around the fact that it's cold out there, and the cold has finally hit my neck of the woods after resisting it most of this winter so far and going back into the 50s next week for 2 days, today and tomorrow. Freezing, absolutely freezing. So welcome aboard. Happy Friday, everybody. I do have a Beatles show tomorrow. Of course I do. Thankfully, it's inside. It's a sold-out venue, which is really cool, so it'll be a nice trip. But we got my dad coming. My wife is taking my dad. I don't know, temperatures in the low teens, wind chill below zero. Of course, right? The one night. But anyway, thank God we're playing indoors, and it should be a great time. Hey, Keith. Yeah, shoot it down. That's it. That's tonight's commentary. Shoot it down. What's up, Vintage Kaja? How you doing? Great to see you. Hi, Kim. 5 degrees on the Hudson River. Yeah, it's cold everywhere you look. Hey, Puddings, how you doing? Oh, did you really? Very cool. Good. You got your 10% off. Appreciate that, Puddings. They're great bags. Most importantly, honestly, guys, everything I put down there is stuff I use for the stuff I sell that I talk about, at least here on the show, and they're all fantastic. If you disagree, that's okay, but I think you'll get really good use out of those bags. They're awesome, Puddings. Thanks so much. Hey, Kelly, I'll say it once because like clockwork, always bring up the weather. And yeah, don't worry about it. You're not alone. When it's this dramatic, it warrants a conversation. But yeah, I know Maine is like 20 below or something insane. All around us, we're still, what is it, 19, 20, something like that here currently. Let's take a good look. 19 with a wind chill of 9. Winds northwest at 14 miles an hour. But like it's supposed to be 8 degrees tonight, proper temperature. And then all day tomorrow, I don't think we get out of we get to like 23 as a high. But it's dramatic. When weather is this dramatic, it's always a topic for conversation. 38 in North Carolina. How you doing, Vintage Kaja? Good to see you. 58 and sunny is not that cold. Jimmy Buys. First time I had. 58 and sunny is not that cold. First time it hasn't rained in 7 days. That's great since my yard is a swamp. Where are you again, Dreamy Buys? Well, welcome to the show. 58 is downright balmy. We'll be there. We're supposed to be at 60 degrees next Tuesday, something like that. Hey, Karen, how you doing? I know Karen is freezing like I am. It's no big deal. I mean, for us, this is a joke. It's like 2 days and it's back in the 40s and 50s. But one little blast. We had that Arctic blast that the whole country had in December, right around Christmas time. Single digits below zero for like a week. And then since then, the whole month of January was the highest recorded temperature, average temperature for the month of January on record in this area. They said 150 years of calculating this kind of stuff. It's by far the warmest. And we did, I always talk about, by the way, cheers. This would be a genuine plastic cup from Disney's Epcot Akershus Norway Pavilion. I love this cup. We did get a flake of snow. I took a picture, I sent it out, and I swear to you, as the picture was developing, the snow melted. It was so sad, but what was it? What's today, Friday? Tuesday or Wednesday morning, I woke up, and there was like a little dusting on the ground. I was so excited, and it just melted away. So at least I got to see snow this year. Negative 15, wind chill 40, yeah. I know, it's obscene, man. Stay warm. Hi, Joni, how you doing? 9 degrees outside of Chicago. Stay warm, as long as we're all inside. Southeast Texas, okay, cool. Cold and windy. Yeah, the wind is obviously the issue. The wind is it's cold is cold. 10 degrees is cold, 5 degrees is cold. You had that wind in there, though. It is brutal. I went out with my dad this afternoon, ran some errands, had to take him to the supermarket. I didn't want him to go because it's really, really cold. He's like, no, I want to go. And he regretted it almost as soon as he stepped outside of the door because the wind was it's one of those cold winds that hurt your face, like it physically hurts. Anyway. Yes, it's cold. That was the theme of the show. That was the thumbnail. It's cold. Yeah, usually get up north of the mountains. Yeah, it's just one of those things that's coming down. Hey, Jim, how you doing? Howdy, howdy. All right, so we've definitely all agreed that even for Southeast Texas, 58, I guess that's, it's not cold, you're right, but it's probably not the warmest it's ever been down there. Hurricanes, you get cold. Yeah, exactly. All right, everybody. What shall we open with? It's kind of a sleeper story, but the report that came out yesterday, the update, the winter update, I know a bunch of people have already acknowledged it. Really sort of a non-event. Fees went up 0.35% was the big headline. And we're going to have the ability to, much like we do in 6-bit now, we have the ability to create listings and have them posted at a later date for free. I think it was an option that they charged you for previously, and now it's going to be free. I think it was the 15th, something like that, of February. But outside of that, pretty much a non-event as far as eBay updates for the wintertime, which I guess is a good thing. They won't be tampering with, hopefully, anything regarding specifics or anything that could be a lot more eventful and impactful for us. You get her. Yep. So unless anybody has anything they want to bring up about that, I just thought it was pretty non-eventful. I was grateful for that. I didn't want to rock the boat. Sales have been doing well. I just did a video released at noon, 6 hours ago, another what's sold. But all those sales were just these last couple of days, I think just since February 1st. And there was like 16 or 17, which is pretty good for the paper stuff I sell, the print ads, the postcards. I actually put up gleefully. I finally sold a little skating. It was a roller derby sticker skate thing. $20. I got it for $1. I got 3 of them for $1 each. And finally, that thing has been up over 2 years and it finally sold. I was very happy to somebody in Chicago. They're very cool if you collect those things. They're brand spanking new old stock. It has the glue on the back that you just like dampen and you could stick it. So that was pretty cool. Sold some sheet music. I put that up there too. But the cards and the print ads have been doing really well. Just sold a couple more print ads in the last half hour or so as I was setting up the show. So it's really, really exciting to see that. The print ads are kind of flying off the shelf again, which is cool. I wound up listing a bunch of print ads. Hopefully there's some correlation there. You list, you sell. Listed print ads because I've been sort of neglecting them for a while. Excuse me one second. Little portable heaters a little bit too close and I'm getting like rosy cheeked. So anyway, I did list, 20, 30 ads or something yesterday from 1940. So maybe that's got the thing going, but it's been selling for a few days now. The ads have been selling well. Hope everybody out there is having good luck with sales, listing, and doing some more listing. Choose your poison. Wherever you go on this planet, there's going to be some sort of an issue that you're going to have to deal with, right? Yeah. Hey, Bartomania, what's up, man? Cheers. Yes, do hit that like button. Do as Karen says. Please, if you appreciate the content, I appreciate all of you being here and hanging out with me on Friday night. But if you'd be kind enough to leave a thumbs up, I would appreciate it. We'll see if we can get the sales thing going again. I did have a conversation with eBay prior to the show. I said, look, I'm going on at 6, guys. 6 to 7. I need that. I need those sales coming out for my people. What's up, John? Cheers. John will recognize this fine little glass. I love Norway. I don't like that they made it all frozen themed the last few years, but it's still a really cool pavilion to go to. If anybody's has not been, I should say, to Epcot. The Norway Pavilion is a really nice place. Very visually pleasing. Welcome to the show, John. I know it's cold in Maryland, too. It's cold everywhere right now. We're pretty much socked in. So check out the video if you haven't checked it. It was a What Sold. Came out at noon today. Check that out if you haven't checked it out. After last night, 5 Disney cost $17.50. Wow, congratulations, man. That's outrageously cool. I was pumped about my $12 backside of water Disneyland sale. It was still pretty cool. Had up for $15, sold for $12. I'll take it. I think that was off one of your whatnots as well, John. How you doing, Jackie Jack? Welcome to the show. Wherever you are, everybody, we're going to say it one more time. It's cold out there. I hope you're warm, snug, comfy. Have a beverage or libation of some sort, some food. I'm sure John has his food on his way. I actually ordered a pie tonight, folks. That's right. I did it. Last week, my wife shot me down. Tonight, ordered myself a little personal-sized pizza. Ate it shortly before the show. It's just one of those things. You get a craving. I've been preaching about this little diet I've been doing for a couple of months, and I just had a craving for pizza. And I'm like, let me just get the stupid pizza out of my system. It's out of my system. I had like 4 slices, but they're tiny. They're like, it's a personal-sized pizza. So I think they only had 6 slices on the whole pie. I had 4. Have a libation. Life is good. And now the pizza thing is out of my system. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, sometimes it's got to be done. You know what I mean? On the way, great Mexican restaurant. Oh, cool. Beautiful. Little Mexican, sure. Joni, too cold to go out. It's a list. Exactly. It's a listing. I have to go out. A big Beatles show coming up tomorrow. Sold out at Kennett Flash. Look it up. Really cool venue. A lot of pretty big acts play there. We've played that 4 or 5 times now. It's kind of like a supper club sort of a venue. Intimate setting, but beautiful. Cabaret style. Really nice stage. Excellent sound. Great event. And it's sold out. So I am pumped to hit that. We'll be there. I think we have to be there at 3 o'clock. The show is at 7. No, the show is at 8. Doors open at 7. Show is 8 to 10. So we'll be cold tomorrow. But then I'll be sweating on the stage. And more importantly, after you sweat on the stage, and you trust me, you do sweat on the stage, getting off the stage, dripping wet, going out into that 10-degree weather with the winds howling, that's where the pneumonia sets in. So, yeah, me too, man. I was pumped about my 15. I took a best offer. It was 12. Anything over, for me at the right now, my postcard venture, anything over $10, I'm pretty ecstatic over, quite frankly. Most of mine are usually, $5 to $10, the occasional $12. Sold, if you check out the video, you'll see it. I sold a really nondescript shot, a chrome picture of an apartment complex in a town called Collingswood, New Jersey. I think it went for like $9. I don't know why it was. I don't even remember why I priced it up that high, but it sold for $9. Who knew? Who knew? So if I can get $9 on a lame chrome card, that's encouraging. What's up, Ralph Funk? How are you? Yeah, Michigan's got to be ridiculous too. And all you guys around the Great Lakes, I know you get crucified with weather pretty much all winter. When the gales of November come early, as someone once said. Yeah, that's phenomenal. Yeah, I would imagine that would be a pretty good sales day. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, and somebody wrote a comment on the video saying that a relative, their aunt or something, lives in that apartment complex, which I thought was kind of cool. So that shows you that it's still there. The card was it was postmarked in 58, so it was sometime in the 50s, the picture. Let's see, what else? Oh, do as I say, not as I do portion of the show. For the first time ever, I went in last night. I was watching another program, and I happened to be a moderator in said program. I was moderating. And just as almost a reflex, I'm like, oh, let me take a look. When's the last time I did the end and sell similar thing? I had 200 a page? At least 2,000 of my listings were dated December 29th. I'm like, looked at my calendar. It was February 2nd at the time. I'm like, oh man, I'm past the 30 days. Let me try to refresh these things. So foolishly, I go in, I wish they would expand this beyond 200 because this never would happen. But I did my 200 end, 200 sell similar, make any tweaks, submit. 200 end, sell similar, make any tweaks, submit. Somehow I got lost because I was concentrating on the chat in the show, whatever, and I inadvertently deleted 200 listings. I don't even know what they are. I know they're not postcards because I went into my SKU. Dawn Wright, hopefully she'll be on shortly, gave me good advice. She's like, why don't you look at your SKU and see if there's like a major gap in your SKU. I didn't know what kind of product. It could have been anything. Went through I don't have that many postcards listed, less than about 2,000 so far. So it was relatively easy. Went through all the SKUs, and sure enough, I had 45 to 50 cards in every SKU. So I didn't miss any. I didn't go from like D3 to D6. So I know they weren't postcards. I'm assuming it was print ads, but I'm not positive. But I'm really, really upset about it. It dawned on me, like, as the night went on, I got more furious at myself for doing that because I'm usually like a maniac with that kind of stuff. It might be overkill. I always dummy check. I look at my starting listing number. I write it down. I always make sure I go back to that number. And I don't know how I did it. I must have had it lined up to hit sell similar and hit delete inadvertently because I was paying attention to the chat. And so I'm pretty furious. I lost 200 listings. I have no idea what they are. There's really no way to go get them back because I kept going. Maybe if I had stopped at that point, I saw there was some things on eBay, chat rooms and all that stuff about some methods. If you just did it, you might be able to go into, this is a good trick actually, go into your own advanced search and then search by your username. It takes a bit of time, I guess, for it to come off of the universal search. And you can kind of get those items again and maybe copy them and do sell similar. But anyway, damage was done because by the time I realized I did it, when I saw my number was down by 200, I had already done another 4 or 5 batches. So I'm really upset about it. I'm grateful it's not postcards, honestly, because I don't have that many up. And I didn't want to lose 200. That would be a 10% drop, and I'd have to go back and do it all over again. It takes some time. So I have no idea what they are. Yeah, exactly, Jimmy Buzz. Really, very pleasantly surprised. I said that in the video. I was pleasantly surprised. So no like lame card sales, no $4, $5 card sales. Not that it's lame, but you know what I mean. They were all pretty good money, for run of the mill stuff. Very, very happy with postcards in general, and especially this last few days. Monday, when I was on the show last was Monday. I had a very slow day Monday, but since then it's been good again. And the last couple of days it's been really good. Yeah, ouch. I'm so mad. Have you really, Kelly? It's the first time I ever did it. Furious. You keep your eye off the ball for 1 second, I swear. And I remember the reason I brought this up, just to share my frustration, of course, with all of my friends, but also because I'm always the one that says, I said this a couple of shows ago, a lot of people were saying they easily get distracted when they're trying to list. They have movies going, they have this going, they get bored quickly and start doing something else, and they go back to it. And I'm like, no. When I list, man, I list. I put some music on. I have the blinders on. I'm focused, and that really is true. However, when I'm doing something as important as what I was doing last night, for me to let that slip, I'm so mad at myself. I did smack myself. You can still probably see my hand right now. No, I was furious. I still am furious. And what I'm really furious about is I have no idea what they were. They might not have been they might have been stuff I have in this thing in back of me that I always show you guys. There's a bunch of stuff in there. There's Disney things, there's pins, there's figurines, there's all kinds of junk back there too. And if that's not listed anymore, like the thought of going through physically inventory of all this stuff to find, it's going to be a needle in a haystack scenario. So I'm pretty mad. Don't do, as I said, do as I say, not as I do. Don't get distracted. I should have just waited. Like why I decided suddenly in the middle of a show that I'm moderating to, let me do some ends and sell some. I shouldn't have done that. I should have waited till it was over, because I fell victim to the very thing I said I'd never do. Not cool. That's why I do end and relist. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm pretty livid over it, quite frankly. You're going to do a big audit of your listings? Oh, yeah, a physical audit. Nicely done, Puddings. Smaller size register. Yeah, they do. That's a good point. There are smaller ones than the ones I get are 15 by 11, I think. I should know this. I think they're 15 by 11. They do have smaller ones. I only have a couple of hundred of the smaller ones. I used to use those for magazines. Believe it or not, the guy who rips apart all these magazines, I told you this a while ago. My wife used to go dumpster diving at a Barnes & Noble 5-6 years ago. And we get all these like pristine magazines. And before I thought about the ad thing, we would just sell the magazines. So I had those they fit magazines really well, and they keep them, the rigid paper keeps it flat and safe. And I saw someone the other day, only gave you 25 for the start. I had to go to page 10 to find them. Not normal. I'm trying to think, did I have any wonky things? No. When you go to delete and you go into your ended or unsold folder, sometimes you go to delete, it says there's a problem, try again. It's usually not a big deal. You get the little red thing. If you hit cancel and go back, they're deleted. Short of that, I haven't had any problems with that process. Before you do those, run a CSV of your active listings. Very good idea, man. Appreciate that. Did you use 6-bit with your eBay store? No, I didn't. I know you could port in your entire store. I didn't do that. Because I was just going to use it for postcards, and most of my listings are in postcards, but that would have been a good idea. But no, I didn't sync my store with 6-bit. Yeah, got to stay laser focused. Very good point. I like that. Laser focused. Can't believe that happened to me. Did it happen? Hey, CJ. Happened to you too? They would be, Ralph, if I had synced everything with 6-bit, but I didn't. I just started fresh and listed postcards. I didn't do my whole store. Yeah, I don't have anything else that I'm using. InkFrog would be a good thing. I like the CSV thing is obviously a great idea from Kelly. Yeah, the photos, we could always, I could get photos. If it was postcards, I could scan 200 postcards in 5 minutes, or less. Popeye. Yeah, that's I don't know. The old wives' tale was always that if you do sell similar, you get a refreshed listing, a completely refreshed listing. If you sell similar, apparently some of the metadata can carry over from your stale listing and be a hindrance. That's what I always heard. And I know that at some point the one radical difference was that sell similar gave you a new item number and relist didn't. But now I understand that supposedly relist does give you a new item number. But I guess the only thing is that metadata, the junk associated with your old listing, could conceivably be carried over when you just do a relist. That's what I always heard, but it's been argued for a while. Relisting. Yep. Exactly. I think that's what we hear. Kim says she was bulk getting the other day, ran a bunch of duplicates. Not that I listed duplicates. I'll tell you the one. I wish it was that scenario. If you duplicate the good thing, one of a really nice eBay feature. I'm sure we've run into this together before, but if you go to, let's say I take 200. I forgot that I already did a sell similar. I try to do it again. You'll get a big old, identical listings. It'll notice that it's an identical listing, and I go and delete them without any harm or foul. Unfortunately, in my scenario, I foolishly deleted not only once but twice. That's what disturbs me. I deleted them and then deleted them again. Didn't even bring them into. It's not funny. I'm really mad about it. 200 listings. It's 200 listings. You know what I mean? Yeah, I do sell similar. I'm not sure. I guess because it's still a new listing, quote unquote, and you do get a new list ID number, eBay identification number, whatever it's called. Supposedly now, when you do relist, maybe that's why you get the bump. I'm not bothered by the process. I just wish you could do a lot more at once. It would have avoided, if I could do like 1,000 at a time or something, I could do it in, 5 goes. I could have the whole, so I only have about not even 5,000 listings. I would have been close, but I lost 200. I want to get, way more listings. But at this point of 5,000-ish, I could do it in 5 moves instead of whatever the math is, 20. I had to do it like I said, I think it was like 3,000 listings, 200 a time. It's enough to be annoying. Again, when trying to foolishly by watching another YouTube show and moderating it, that was just really dumb. I should never have done it at the time I did it. Yep. Supposedly. I love the way everybody puts, I think. That we could just go by what we've read, heard. I don't know that I've ever seen a piece of literature from eBay that says you do this and this happens. I don't know. Some people believe. Right, that's what I'm saying. Everybody has, I think. Yeah, exactly. I think I will. Mm-hmm. How's he right back at you, Joe? Some odd. Or it's always afternoon. It's always afternoon in Joe's land. I've never even done the relist thing, so I don't know. I guess it's one less step. You don't have to, like Popeye said, you don't have to delete the portion. You could just do one button, sell similar, whatever it is called, relist. Since I've never done this, when you do relist, does it present you with the whole batch again? And you can, if you like, let's say you wanted to do a bulk edit, do you still have that option, or does it just send it right out? I gotcha. It does, Ralph Funk. Thanks. But you see the damage done at this point. But yeah, it's a nice backup for sure. Mm-hmm. And my understanding, I think, Dreamy Bias, is that was not always the case. That sell similar, that was one of the big benefits of doing the sell similar thing, was that you did get the new listing number, and now supposedly you get the same if you do excuse me. What's the other one? And sell similar and relist. I think relist, you get that option now. You can add it. Cool. Okay, so it's basically, it's one less step, right? You don't have to delete. It doesn't go to unsold, I guess. Whereas the way I do it, a whole batch 200 is the most you can do, unfortunately, goes to unsold. And that's where my faux pas occurred, because it was in unsold. I don't know what I did. I don't know if I just deleted it out of unsold without even bringing it up to sell similar, or if I hit sell similar, got distracted, saw them, and deleted them like a fool. Regardless, 200 listings down the drain, and I will never know what they are. That's the thing that's infuriating. I don't know what they are. I don't know what these 200 listings. They could be anything. I know they were listed on December 29th. I was trying to do some kind of backdoor analysis. How can I see everything I listed on December 20th? I was actually thinking of writing eBay and I'm sure they could pull down some kind of reporting, but then I thought better. I said, do I really want to get into the weeds with eBay right now about this? So it's a hard lump for me. It really is. It's a big hit. Like I said, I'm not saying 200 listings for people that have 20, 30,000 or even 5,000 or even 1,000. It's not so much that. It's just, I think about all the work that went into those 200 listings, and that they're somewhere in my house well, I know where they are. They're over here as in my listed inventory section. And I don't know which ones are sitting there that actually aren't listed, So maybe I will write an email to eBay just for fun, see if they have any advice. I somehow I doubt it. I don't mean to be down, but I kind of doubt it. eBay never tells us anything. Yeah, unfortunately, that's on a lot of things like this. That's very true. It's kind of it's just accepted as fact because a majority of people say it's so. But that's why I thought it was kind of funny tonight. Right? Everybody writes, if you do this, I think, because you're right. I've never really seen a manifesto come from eBay that says this is how it's done, and if you want to do anything else similar, this is how you do it, and here's the pros and cons of doing it each way. Day drinking would always, that's a factor. Got a sale. Congratulations, Popeye. Cheers. Way to go. Hey, Jay Smith. No, I remember it was an option to do that. Let me go in really fast. What the heck? We're not doing anything else. Let's go into 6-bit. Talk to me, guys. Where do I see my inventory in 6-bit? Loading. I've never even tried to do this because I didn't sign up for the option to do that whole sync. I'm now in the 6-bit program, but I can't see half of it because my camera's in the way. Check listings, sell items. What are my options? My dashboard. eBay told me there was nothing they could do to recover. Oh, is that right? You reached out to them at some point? I've kind of figured that. I'm sure it's nonsense, by the way. I would be willing to bet, especially like moments after. I could see if like a week goes by, maybe they delete it. But you have to believe that they keep some information for a period of time. You get the error for server error, no telling how many times you have listed. Really? No, that's from now till March 21st, 22nd, whenever spring is. 45 days and counting, baby. Check 6-bit. You could have a running listings and a repository you could check against. Check listings. Previously listed. All right, hold on. Check listings. It only has my, when I go check listings, it only has my postcard listings. I know I didn't sign up for the, whatever it's called, the sync. Previously listed tab. I'm trying to find previously listed. I have completed, out of stock, running, pending. It's under sell items. Under workflow tab, you have a previously listed section. Workflow. Oh man, we have another upgrade, by the way, to 4.00.473. Previously listed. Previously listed just shows all my postcards listed, nothing else. Sell items. I'm in sell items. I'm in previously listed. It only has my postcards. If you know the other cards you listed on December 29th. I know it's not postcards. Hi, Purple Soccer. Welcome to the show. I do know it's not postcards because I went into the SKUs on my eBay listings, which I have SKUs for. Popeye methodology, box A, box B, box C, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 10. And they all went down. I had A1 through 10, B1 through 10, C1 through 10, and so on. puzzle for you. All my listings are in 6-bit from before I started new listings with them. When you set up with 6-bit, there was an item to do a sync of all your listings from eBay. And I blew past that and said, no, I don't want to do that because I was starting fresh and we're just going to list postcards through 6-bit. I don't have anything else listed through 6-bit but postcards. So I didn't want to bring in movie posters, Disney baubles, print ads, and all that stuff into my 6-bit and clog it up. No. Repository tab. Same thing, it's just postcards. Just postcards. Nope, I only list postcards through 6-bit, and postcards were not the 200 items that were deleted, unfortunately. Yeah, exactly. Free is free, yeah. Yep, item repository only has my postcards. 1994 listings. So it doesn't have the other 3,000. Oh, well. Yeah, as Kelly says, hard lesson learned. Can't let it happen again. Don't do as I do. Don't get distracted. Don't decide to do your end and sell similar or end and relist in the middle of doing something else. It is when you first set up. You have the item to sync the two up, which I blew off because I had no need to at the time. I didn't want my print ads and all the other stuff. In 6-bit, I just wanted my postcards. Had Woody had gone straight to the police, this never would have happened. You could still do it the next time you do NSL similar and delete stuff. Yeah, that's a good idea. So it doesn't. So at least I have a backup plan. Or I could just pull down, like Kelly said, just do a CSV or something, all my listings. I don't see it happening again. I can't believe it happened the first time. I'm still sort of in shock. I'm so angry at myself. I can't begin to describe. And I tried to calm down. I'm like, oh, well, what are you going to do? It's not like they were lost in a fire. I mean, if I could sell everything and I still have 200 things sitting in there, I'll know what the 200 are. You know, the other 4,800 sell in the next couple of weeks. I'm good. No, it's really, really upsetting. Really it is. But enough of that. And thanks everybody for the advice. I do appreciate all your concern because I'm sure if it happened to you, you'd be throwing things too. But at least you guys that use 6-bit that have done the sync, you have an option to go back and recover them, which unfortunately I do not have. Much to my chagrin. I'm going into something really quick that's not to do with 6-bit. Bust some chops on somebody for just a moment. Be right back. Chops done been busted. You always lose a couple. I've heard of people doing that, and I haven't had that. I mean, there were one. It's funny you said that. There was one or two during the course of last night's fiasco. Everything else went fine, where it wasn't the listing that wasn't relisted, but it's just something like one item the promoted campaign would not apply to one item or something, which I thought that was odd. But I've never had an issue where I lost the number. I always tie back to that original number, which I do write down. That's why I was so mad. Yeah, it'll get me out of that funk. Yeah, I'm excited about all the other stuff. It's a bummer, man. It's 200 listings gone, And it's not just that they're gone. It's that I don't know what they are. I know they're not postcards. That's one thing I know. They are not postcards. All my postcards are accounted for. Thank goodness. But these 200, like I said, they could be a rag doll that I've had listed for 3 years. They could be a movie poster. It could be anything. I have a lot of other stuff that isn't ephemera. And I hate the thought of them just wasting precious postcard space up there with this junk. And now I won't sell because it's not even listed. I never have until I'm not nervous about it. It was a foolish move, man. It's a very simple process, but you have to stay focused on the process, which I always preach. And I, again, completely failed on that endeavor last night. It was brutal. I almost did throw something. I was really, really upset. Maniacally check for the numbers. Me too. I write it down, Purple Socko. I lost 200 listings. And then this actually makes me even more upset to know that there was an option to have like Ink Frog and so many other third-party things. 6-bit does that. I could have had these items saved in 6-bit. Main story on airplane, cool. 6-bit has a lot of functionality. I know you know this, Popeye. 6-bit has some really cool capabilities I don't think any of us tap into. And for the love of God, why don't I have my store backed up? Going, like you said, going forward, I guess it is an option. I'll play around. I'll find how to do that, but I'll definitely do the sync. In fact, probably after this show, so that God forbid this ever comes close to happening again, I have a backup. Thank you, Chappie. I could get you details. It's in the listing itself. It was from 82 Life magazine. Hold on, I'll take a look. For those who might not know, I worked there for a long time. I was in both attacks in 93 and 01. So it's a very special place to me. Paid and shipped. Let's get that information, shall we? I know it's from 82. I was surprised. I forgot I had an 82 magazine. That's really new for me. Very, very, very new. I don't even think I have many 70s. So to have an 82, I was like, how do I even have this? March 1982 Life magazine for the Towering Taste Kent cigarette ad. It was the pizza. The pizza was one of the good things that happened today, along with this delightful glass of goodness in my Akashush cup. A little miffed at 6-bit, really, just upgraded 120 a month. Wow. Oh, get out of here. Yeah, that is odd. And didn't we read recently that 6-bit is now incorporating HIP? I do, Kelly, absolutely. And that was one of my first thoughts, was just go through everything. But there's a lot, that they're kind of, the postcard thing, what I love about, one of the many things I love about it is I can fit 500 some odd cards in a tub, right? So my A box is going to be 500 listings. The other stuff, there's a lot of one-offs. You've all seen my inventory system, SKU system for the print ads, which is my other larger section of listings. I have L1, L2, L3 for life, or MC1 from a call. So yeah, I have a SKU system for all that. And what I did is I sorted my entire active listings by SKU, and I started scrolling through pages and pages, and I didn't see anything. But then I had, for some unknown reason, the first 30 or 40 listings that came up when I sorted by SKU were blank. So I don't know what those are either. I don't know. I mean, I know what they are. I don't know why I don't have a SKU for them. Probably from before I was into this as much, I guess. Oh, you're very welcome, Chappie. Check it out. Egads, I hate the mobile stuff. Oh, that's good to know they refunded you. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of 6-bit. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful program. And again, they have a lot of functionality and reporting you could pull down. Yes, you could do a extract right out of eBay, all your active listings just on a spreadsheet, and then you could just filter it by your SKUs. You can also just look at your active listings on eBay, not even pull anything down, and again, just sort the field by SKUs. So I'll probably I started to do that. I think I was just so upset. I still am at what had happened that I kind of blew that off, because I'm going through pages and pages and pages and pages, and your eyes start getting bleary, and I'm like, but I probably will revisit that idea of seeing if there's let's say I just go from L141 to L146 and there's no 42, 43, 45, 5. Haha, that might be my culprits, right? Winter Reseller Marathon. And what would that be on? What's up, Mike? Guten Tag. How you doing? Guten Abend, I should say. Shed Flips recently went through this store of 1,800 items and sorted by SKU field, and then just went through the. Yep, exactly. That's what I was saying. You could just right on your screen. You could just sort by SKU. Physical inventory, probably a good idea. I've heard a lot of people use List Perfectly. Vendu is another one that I actually had for a little while, but I wound up bailing on them only because I'm not really doing a lot of business on Etsy. That was the only other platform other than the HIP debacle, which had its own built-in way to bring everything over, which failed me miserably. But I've I've heard a lot of people use List Perfectly. I guess mixed reviews, another offer based to Ching. There you go. Is it a big one? Right. Yeah, it's time well spent. I love the idea of the physical inventory that you said you're going to do, and you said Shed Flips is doing. I think it's a great idea to do once in a while, because as you keep, it becomes harder to do the more you add. So if I have, intentions of getting up to 10, 20,000 listings, which I really want to do, then it might be a good idea while I'm still at 5, where it's manageable, to go ahead and do that. I'm sure if I do a physical inventory, I'll be able to find them. I just wish I had a clue. Like I said, I do have a clue. I know it's not postcards. So there you go. I don't have to go through 2,000 postcards. That's kind of cool. But it's all the other junk. I mean, I still have, perish the thought, I still have clothing that's active, sitting in a bin. Behind that black milk carton you see is a clear bin filled with some clothes that we still are hanging. Again, it's kind of cool stuff. It's not, a mall brand blouse or anything like that. They're like Disney shirts and some kind of cool thing, rock shirts and concert shirts. Good evening, Jeff. How are you? Welcome to the show. What cross-listing platform would that be, Karen? Have you checked ended? Indeed, I have Audio Mic, and therein lies the problem. I deleted it from the ended. If you're familiar with the process of doing the end and sell similar, when you do the end, it goes to ended or unsold or both. And both of them, unfortunately, tied back to that same number that I had before I started, which was 33. So they're gone. They're not in the ended. I wish. If it said 233, problem solved, but 200 are gone. It's 10 hours tonight and 10 hours. On what platform would this be? Is that a whatnot experience? Steve, yeah, Steve might be, what is it called? Lurking? 18, I agree. That's a good one for me. Perfect Lister. Okay, cool. Having a program like 6-Bit that I pay for every month, I mean, again, I wish if I had talked to you guys on Monday about this, you might have said, hey, man, you should really consider backing up your whole store and List Perfectly, in 6-Bit. I would have done it. But now that I know it's an option, I think that's a nice 1-2 punch. Do a physical inventory. You'd be surprised what comes up. I did some a while ago when a couple of 100 listings. It was pretty easy to do. I think it's a very good idea because you'll probably find some mistakes or, mismatches within your listing. Let's say, even like, as far as, it's funny, I sold an alabaster white eagle statue thing, like a 10-inch statue on Etsy that I had cross-posted with Vendu from my eBay store that's been up for a while. An Italian artist named Gianelli. Nice item. Sold for $50. I was pumped. I had it indicate, I had banker boxes with some of that stuff, right? And I said it was in box 4 or something, and it wasn't in box 4, it was in box 5. So I have a comparable listing with another eagle, just another position. So I went into my SKU and I fixed it to box 5, whatever, things like that. I'm sure at a minimum, I'll come up with some stuff like that where I have things potentially miscategorized, or not miscategorized, misplaced back there, and possibly even miscategorized within the listing. So it's a good opportunity to make some mistakes, to clear up some mistakes. It's on here on YouTube. Listing and listing. Please do, Karen. Cool. Rockville, Maryland, because the law office does textbook buys. Cool. You never done an audit. Well, in your case, it would almost be obscene. Yeah, that's exactly. Too big to fail is Popeye. Nice. Well, it's not gonna. I'm gonna tell you right now. The live audit is not taking place this evening. It's not taking place tomorrow because I have a show. Maybe Sunday. But that's fodder for a new video, isn't it? I could do a whole video about my inventory. That would be exciting stuff to watch. Watch somebody go through boxes and pull their hair out. Okay. Where is Dawn Wright? Tell me she's still sleeping. It's probably cold in Canada. If it's cold here, I mean, she must be 50 below in Canada, where it's always cold. Dawn Wright usually is good for stuff like that, taking care of links. What else, everybody? So yeah, with that said, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to do a physical audit, but we're also going to do a 6-bit sync with the old eBay store. Let's see how that works. Now, it's funny, Kelly, I remember you telling everybody a while ago, you did this, right? And it took days in York. Didn't it take like a couple of days to get all your items over on 6-bit? It wouldn't be too difficult to inventory the box letter tab number, but still 5 to 6. Yeah. Risk versus reward sort of scenario, Popeye. Like, are you in any danger of losing stuff? Would you even know if you lost the stuff? You have so much stuff. But I mean, for me, at a much smaller level, it's probably a good practice to get into. And I'd love to find these 200 items, I really would. I'd love to find these 200 items because it's a big hit. I was just about to hit the 5,000 mark. I'm not one to always, a lot of people write these, and I'm no offense to anybody who does it, but you'll see people post things. Hey, just got my 1,000th listing, and that's cool. But I'm not big into. I don't care that I have 5. That's not like a achievement necessarily. If I want to get things sold, so in a lot of the stuff I sell, and a lot of all of us sell, you need volume to do well and sell consistently in those long tail fields. So to that end, of course, I'd be excited to get to 5 and 10 and 20 and all that stuff. But I'm not the type that's going to do a big old post with balloons and fireworks saying I got 5,000. But it does stink just psychologically. It stinks beyond belief just that I lost 200 listings. I don't care if I had 300 listings and I lost 200. It would be devastating. I don't care if I had 100,000 listings and I lost 200. I'd be mad. Hey, Morris, how you doing? Chilly Canada, yes. The frozen tundra that is the Great White North. Welcome to the show, Morris. It's chilly pretty much everywhere in this continent right now. Inventory number in the title, you could just search for BAT and check the active listings. That's true. Yeah, exactly. That's an arduous process, to say the least, right? To sit down, take out the box, just to get to the boxes and go through them all. I don't know. I don't know with 30, 40,000 listings, whatever it is. I don't know if that's really, you get much benefit out of doing that. You might find some mistakes and clean up a couple of items, but is it really worth the time that you would spend doing all that? When you could spend 1/10 of that time and probably make a couple $1,000s on your postcard sales, What level of store do I have? I used to have what is it called? I don't even know what my store is called. Let's take a look. I have, how do I see my level? I think you have to go in to buy a different one. I don't know. I had, I don't have enterprise. I don't have, what's the one below that? Hold on. Let me see. There's got to be a quick way to find out what kind of store you have. Settings. I'm trying to find my store type. Peddling Profits, how you doing? Howdy from cold. That's that. You don't even have to say where it's from. We know everywhere is cold right now. Yeah, Anchor. I don't have Anchor. I have whatever's below Anchor. Whatever's below Anchor. I can't find it right now. Dinner is here. Enjoy the Mexican. Take some Pepto-Bismol with you. And we'll see you later on, Popeye. If not, have a great weekend, man. I'll talk to you. Thank you, as always, for coming in. And congratulations once again, Popeye. 1750, I think, was the number in Disney cards. Come on. The man is a machine. I have a lot of cards that I've come across and think, why did I list this garbage? Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I don't see myself throwing out stuff, I don't think, even if I do a physical inventory, I'm going, what is this? Why do I have that pair of socks up? I'm throwing it out. If I listed it and it's sitting there and it's not doing anybody any harm, I might as well leave it up there. Now, I'll tell you, doing a physical inventory of the non-ephemera stuff, which I guess, relatively speaking, is a small portion of my store at this point, but still a sizable amount of junk to go through. Might be a good opportunity to maybe throw all those things up in an auction or something, just blow them out. Basic, premium, and Anchor. I think I have premium, Mars. Peddler Profits, welcome from the cold. Ohio. Yes, you're the next state over from us, west. Welcome to the show, man. Great to have you. Yeah, the big benefit used to be for Anchor was the support, right? You get like that premium level support if you have an issue with eBay. Yeah, ever since, they've increased the numbers so much since the pandemic stuff. It's amazing. And I'm telling you, I think it pushed a lot of people away from the anchor or even premium down to basic or whatever the first level is, because there wasn't that huge advantage that you used to have for having those higher level stores. And every penny counts, as we all know. Good evening, Mike. How are you? Welcome to the show. I know it's cold in chilly New York, isn't it? Basic 1,000. Is that yeah, I don't have basic because I definitely have more. Yeah, they have listing capacity. Hold on a second. Now we got to go to this eBay store levels. Use the Google, shall we? Show me like a nice clean. All right. Start a store, you only get 250. Basic is 1,000. Premium, I have premium, 10,000 a month. Free fixed price, 10 cent. After 10,000, you get 10-cent insertion fees. And you get 500 auctions, which I'm lucky if I do one auction a month. And then beyond premium is Anchor, which gives you 25,000 a month, 1,000 auctions a month. Then the Enterprise, you get 100,000. That's $3,000 a month, folks. So salute. If you have an Enterprise store, you're doing well. I guess that's for like Walmart, real big, really big stores. So there you go. Yeah, I have premium to answer the question. $59.95. Yep. So you get 10,000 a month with zero insertion fees, which is a beautiful thing. Which is why I keep saying, as much as it's kind of in vogue to rip on eBay and complain about this and that, a lot of really good things still underway here on eBay, and I'm a huge fan. Overall, huge fan of the platform. I'd be devastated if they went under, or I'm sure a lot of us would be. I'd have to act really fast. Hip, here I come again. 10,000, says Jeff. Yeah, 10,000 a month for what was it? Premium. You've been buying part of a postcard collection. That's awesome. Of course, today was the day I had to pick it up. Oh my God, it's like 40 below with the wind is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You were thinking about that last night. It's actually cheaper to open 2 premium stores than an Anchor. Yeah, great point, Kelly. Have you thought about opening a second store potentially? What would you do at a second store? I love the concept of a second store. I hate the notion that you have to start from scratch though. You can't bring over. I wish there was a way to like mirror some activity or mirror some of your seniority, if you will, in your existing store over to a new one, but you can't. It's starting from scratch. Like the case of Popeye did his airplane last year, I guess, because he just did it a year ago. His new airplane store, which he already, has good feedback and everything on because he sells a lot of stuff. But, to start from scratch, I was tempted. I'm like, hey, maybe I should do a postcard exclusive store. But then I'm starting at zero feedback. All that goes. It's a long way up, and I hate the idea of doing that, of starting from scratch completely. Especially in a category as cool as postcards, where I want to be competitive and make money. What's up, Johnny? How you doing? Hello to you. Hello, everyone. I'm sure he's in Massachusetts. It's freezing up there. Freezing for a Bayou boy like Johnny, right? Johnny, 8:30, Monday to Friday. Must see TV. Everybody check him out. Had him on this morning again. Great to have you in, man. Thank you for coming in. Premium and a basic. Now, guys, how do you divvy up? You know what I'm saying? Did you open both simultaneously, or did you go to a second store down the road when you decided to kind of niche down and you wanted a store dedicated to that niche? Morris does auctions. Yeah, a lot of people do that. So you're satisfied, even if it's one bid, you got your money that you wanted, right? You have to be really confident to do those, starting at $1.99. You accept to hit 60K at year end. I mean, if I'm selling 2,000 a month, then you won't need the extra store. Yeah, it's just, again, my trepidation is the starting from scratch thing. Remember how we all said earlier in the show, you made a comment about eBay's, methodology, and then we always put in parentheses, I think. Same concept. I think a new store is not going to get the same level. The items within the store are not going to get pushed out as aggressively, potentially, as somebody who has 100,000 listings and has been on eBay since eBay was eBay. But again, that is an I think statement. I don't know that that's true, but one would gather it probably is. That's a good idea. But then I'm just saying the store itself would be a virgin store. You'd have no feedback. You'd even have to wait. Remember when we first started with the eBay stores, you have to wait a period. You have to have so many sales or so many dollars sold or something till you could actually get your money out of the PayPal or whatever. I don't know if that might be a non-factor now that eBay does everything and they got rid of PayPal, but I'm tempted. I would love to do have a postcard exclusive store. But the way things are going, if I keep listing postcards, I might make my current store a postcard store and then move, or maybe just have an ads store, because as the postcards take over the ads, that's going to be the lion's share of my listings within this current store. Maybe I'll just retain that for the postcards. We'll see. That's a good problem to have if you're in a situation where you want to kind of separate and have an exclusive niche in one store. I think that's a good scenario. You're doing well. Let's say a dealer has everything skewed and ready to sell on eBay. Has anyone ever brought all their listings and transferred them to a different account? Well, I think that's what Puddings was saying. You could conceivably do that with Actually, you could do it with 6-bit. Now, since I have 6-bit, I guess if you do that sync with eBay, they have all my listings. I could potentially push them out to a different store if I was to open it like a postcard store. 4 degrees. Yeah, same here, man. I mean, it's semantics at this point. I think it's 15 here, but do you really feel the difference between 15 and 4? Probably not. The wind is just ridiculous. But I say this, like I said, today and tomorrow, really, really cold. But then Sunday, 47, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all next week up until February 11th. Every day is in the low 50s and sunny. So thank God it'll be a short-lived cold snap here. I too have a premium. Yes, 50K. 50K additional fixed price insertions in select categories. Yeah, they have. I think collectibles would be one of those categories, by the way, Morris. I'm pretty sure collectibles, where a lot of us fall into with postcards and print ads, are both under that collectibles umbrella. People do that. Yeah, I think you need a third party sort of a thing, right, to maintain all your listings. You converted a buying account to your second store and had feedback there already. You converted your buying account to your second store, so you have the feedback. Gotcha. Okay. And now you're starting over with the print ad store. Okay. I don't know that maybe I'm making more out of it than I should. Maybe it isn't that big of a setback when you start from scratch. In fact, it might actually be a little refreshing. But you know how it is. If you were buying something and you saw somebody with no feedback or 3 feedbacks, would you be a little skittish? I would. That's a great point. You leave it in your will, Michael, because that's value, potential value, right? You know how everybody's store, it gives you a composite. It says, 10,000 listings, listed value $600,000. It's potential value in there. They actually are a valuable commodity, an eBay store. That provided you have the physical inventory behind it, and it's not a paper empire, but that's again a whole other conversation. Good stuff. I'm purging a store of everything non-ephemera. I'm very tempted to do that as well. Maybe as opposed to opening a new store, I could just, as you say, purge out all the non-ephemera stuff, and I'd be left with things I like. Postcards, the print ads. So I have movie posters. I have, what else do I have that would be considered ephemera? I do have some stamps, but not a lot. Yeah, maybe a paper-only store, right? And get rid of the other stuff. A really good way to do that, I know I mentioned it before, is if you have some junk, what you deem as junk. In my case, T-shirts, stuff I don't really want to have anymore, but I still have. I should just do one giant auction, put them all. However, it's probably a couple of hundred listings that aren't ephemera related in my situation. Maybe close to 1,000 actually, maybe a little less than 1,000. Let's even say it's 800. You can go right into your listing, sort, and then change them all to change to auction. The problem is you spend, if you, what is the auction listing? How many auctions do you get a month? I forgot. 500, something like that. If you exceed that amount, you might have to pay a dime or whatever it is, the insertion fee for each auction. So it'll be a little bit of an upfront expense, but it nets out against whatever you're going to make for the month. And just kind of blow them out. If I just want to physically get rid of this stuff and take whatever I can get within reason, that's a really good way to do it. Throw them all in an auction, see what happens. And if nobody buys them, take it to Goodwill or whatever place you want to donate them. Yeah, but don't put that past them, by the way. What is up, poor Canadian? Send us warm air up here. 63, negative 63? No. Come on, that's not even possible. That's like Antarctica. Welcome to the show, poor Canadian. Love all these Canadians coming down south to the lower 48. Great to have you. They made it permanent during last year's. eBay could always remove it. Right, exactly. It's one of the greatest things that's happened in recent memory with eBay, right? Getting rid of those insertion fees. I mean, depending again on the volume, a lot of people in the store have some pretty good, in this show, have a lot of volume in their store. Think about the money you're saving on those insertion fees. It's a substantial quantity of money. So you got to give kudos where due, and eBay did a wonderful job with that, with eliminating the insertion fees. It's a huge, huge plus. So even if they do these incremental updates and fee charges, it's still, you still make out like a bandit as far as all the money we're saving up front on insertion fees. Those of us who dabble in Etsy once in a while, it's 20 cents every listing. Again, not a lot of money, but if you're doing, one of the reasons I didn't bring over thousands of print ads to Etsy was you have to pay like $200-300 just to get them listed. It's a lot of money, you know, for a platform that just doesn't perform nearly as well, for me anyway, as eBay does. Congratulations, Jay Smith. That's how it works. Please do click that thumbs up, hit that thumbs up button, guys, if you're enjoying the show. I hope you are. I'm enjoying having everybody on and chatting on this Friday night. Hey, Michelle, how you doing? Exactly. There's a lot to be said. Exactly. I want the big stuff gone. I don't have that much big stuff, but I totally agree with you. I would love to have it an exclusive, ephemera-based business. Sheet music is another thing I have a bunch of. All that stuff is nice and neat, very easy to store, very easy to ship. Make sure they don't have free shipping. Oh, the stuff on the auction. Great point. Great point. Very, very good point. And your frenzy, and my frenzy to get rid of stuff. Great point. Make sure nothing's free shipping because then you can get burnt. Don't want to lose money. I want to get rid of stuff. I don't want to lose money in the process. Thank you for that. Very good point, Mike. I appreciate that. Combining us a little money. You're thinking of dumping all your matchbook covers and NBA cards on your second card. Yeah, that's right. I forgot you dabbled in some of the sports card stuff. Ed question. Morris, I just sold a 1982, which is very modern to me. World Trade Center ad. You can check out, if you didn't check out the video, it just went out this morning, this afternoon at noon. I launched it. You can see that. I think that's the most recent one I have is 82. But yeah, I'd argue that absolutely every era there's going to be people that collect things from, regardless of where they're from. If you're a collector of Coca-Cola, I don't think they're going to really care necessarily that it's 1905 or 2005. If they collect Coke stuff, they're going to want it all. So you want to capture people with that mentality that they're, you know, avid collectors of a specific product or whatever, and they want to have them all. So yeah, I absolutely think there's a lot of benefit to listing much more recent stuff, ads too. I just personally like the older stuff. It's not even a matter of the money involved. I just like the stuff better, and it's rarer. You know, it's harder to find nowadays an ad from 1905 than it is from 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Yeah, I know they're moving towards, I keep getting that little, just like the new listing tool that I avoided for 6 months. I'm sure it's going to be, in fact, I know it's going to be rolled out to everybody. And they're trying to get everybody in now and say, you know, sign up for this international shipping. My understanding, maybe you could tell us, Chappie, is it's basically exactly the same as global shipping is now. Like from our perspective, there's not a lot physically that's different. Poor Canadian, in the interest of protecting, this sounds like an eBay quote. Interest of protecting buyers and sellers and maintaining a safe marketplace, you could sell an eBay account or change its ownership. There you go. So it is an asset. It's a tangible asset. Thank you for that, poor Canadian. Yeah, there you go. Me too. I think that's going to, I see those sneaky eyes. There she is. Look who woke up for us. Dawn Rightly. Speaking of Canada. Welcome, Dawn. Good to have you. Yeah, I don't know how a transfer, I'm sure that they might have a legal document, Jay Smith. Maybe you sign something almost like a title like you would have for a vehicle or a home. You know, sign over your ownership in a specific store to somebody else. I don't know how that's done, but I'm sure there's something out there. Thanks for the feedback. Taking around video game. Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Especially the 80s stuff. Absolutely. You can have Atari, well, late 70s was Atari for me anyway. Coleco, all that stuff that came out. Yeah, you'd probably do really well. Pac-Man ads, think about that. I often mention the Michael Jordan stuff, 84, 85, Michael Jordan, Nike stuff. I'm sure that would sell really well. What's up, Mark? How you doing from freezing Chicagoland? Yeah, I don't know if you're just watching now, Mark, but I hope the first half hour of this show was dedicated to how cold it is outside. Pretty much universally in the North American continent. Is that the cold smiley face? Welcome to the show, Dawn. It's a better show already because Dawn is here. Oh, that's right. You're down in Nashville. How's it going, man? How was your trip? That's right. Mark went down to Nashville for his huge buyout with his father-in-law. Thanks for checking in, man. I appreciate that. Are you in a hotel or something? Jim, welcome, Dawn, as he should. He's in Tennessee, says Kelly. Yeah, I see that. Good stuff. Commodore 64, early Apple, absolutely IBM ads. Good idea. Got here in about 7 hours. That's not terrible, right? Hotel in Brentwood, Tennessee. Well, good for you. I'm sure it's chilly in Brentwood, Tennessee. It's probably not as cold as Chicago, but I'm sure it's pretty chilly right now, as the entire nation is basically socked into this ice-cold Arctic blast. Thanks a lot, Canadians, for sending your ad down to us. I kid, of course. Pick up tomorrow morning and then on the way home. How long are you just down there for the day? Are you going to turn right back around? You send it as listed and sold on eBay. It takes the rest. Very easy. eBay charges buyer for international shipping. Yep. What I'm saying is it basically exactly the same as global shipping, just a different name from a selling perspective anyway. 49 is pretty dang nice, actually. Yeah. 28 is still pretty dang nice compared to how a lot of us are. 28. Speaking of 28, yeah, that's reasonable. Enjoy the fresh air. That's right. It's always those dang Canadians, All right, cool. Yeah, 7 hours. I mean, no offense, but like I do that all the time for shows. Like if we're playing in New Hampshire, Vermont, that's probably like 6-7 hour ride. So yeah. Doesn't it, Michelle? That's what I'm saying. And you I'm sure you ship to where do we always ship to? Is it Tennessee actually? Where's the global shipping thing? I think it is in Tennessee. Right. Yeah, I did hear quite a few people on the buying end, especially in Britain, UK, saying it was ridiculously, that, not to get it off topic, but Dawn and I talk about this once in a while because she's Canadian, unfortunately, and no, I'm kidding. But the logistics, it's a joke. She's so close to the States, and she's farther south than half the country, but technically it's a different country, and the way that the countries charge each other and screw each other with all these fees tapped on to general merchandise, it's obscene. I don't know why we all put up with it as a people, but we do. We're all sheep. Unfortunately, we're all sheep. That balloon is still flying out there over Montana with sheep. Doesn't anybody have a gun that can go up 60,000 feet? Come on, take it out. eBay provides more benefits to sellers, such as, Chappie? It's about 9 for Dawn, right? Yeah, we're catching up, Dawn. We're like 15 right now. Kentucky, that's it, Michael. Sorry. Tennessee, Kentucky. Come on. Yeah, I'm far too busy to read that, though, Chappie. So I was looking for a Cliff Notes version from you tonight. Kentucky, yeah. 2 tanks of gas. There you go. 28 postcards sold today. Mark, that's awesome. Obscene is correct. Yeah, great point. Do you have to go back in and tinker with all those exceptions like we do currently, that exist currently in the global shipping? Great point, CJ. Maybe they'll just copy everything over, which they kind of do anyway. Yeah, somebody's got to shoot that thing. Come on, enough. I don't care. It's not even a political thing. It's a common sense thing. Imagine if you had a neighbor that you hated. I'm sure we all do, actually. Just picture the neighbor that you hate, that you get into arguments with about everything, right? Nosy neighbor, whatever they are. Imagine if they had like a drone flying over your backyard, doing video of yourself in the shower, in the window, mowing your lawn, feeding your kids. Would you not want to shoot down that drone in a heartbeat? Of course you would. Well, that's what they're doing. Wake up. It's such common sense. I can't believe it's even a debate, but we'll see. Could be wrong. GSP was run by Pitney Bowes. More money in their pockets, a la PayPal. Hey, Jim? 28 cards pays for the 2 tanks, I guess. Gotcha. What a great way to look at things, right? I could do this. If I sell X amount of postcards, it gets me a plane ticket to Brussels, right? I like that, to put it that way. I actually do that all the time with Beatles shows. We make pretty good money at these shows usually anyway. And I'll say like, well, that show, honey, we're going to France with this one, instead of just thinking about the money, because it really is true that money is a concept. There really is no such thing. It's a value. It's an agreed upon concept. The real value of money is what you can do with it, right? So a plane ticket to Brussels is a tangible thing. And if I could play 2 shows and get us round trip tickets to Australia, then so be it. You send your sold items that will go international eBay hub, and they take it from there. Good stuff, Chappie. Absolutely. All the time, Mars. And I know you guys, I don't think you have that in Canada from what Dawn has told us, right? Yeah, I use it almost exclusively. It's, there's some caps around it. $20. You have to be under $20, I believe. I don't know if it goes to 20, but I think most people's pricing structures, if it was $20, you'd put $19.99 to get below that threshold. There's some size limitations and stuff, but yeah, and now it's 60 cents for the ounce. It went up a mighty 3 cents. And then I think it's like 85, 84, 85 cents if we go to above like 2 or 3 ounces. But it's a great program, and I haven't had any at Chase Smith. Yes, I guess you're answering the postcard. Yep, I use it all the time. That's funny. The lotto week was a postcard, yeah. Correct. From a buyer perspective, you hope it's cheaper, right? Because for us, it's the price of whatever if you're charging first class or priority, whatever it will cost you to ship to Kentucky is all it costs us. But I know you see it, right? When the buyer makes the purchase, you could see what they actually paid, which is just insane. I sell a lot of records overseas for whatever reason, and I had one today to a UK buyer, and like the record was like $9.99. Shipping for me, media mail to Kentucky is like $3.80, and they paid like $30 in shipping on this record. It's like George Benson record. But it's one of those scenarios if you can't find it. I mean, I buy internationally all the time on Discogs. I have 2 orders right now, one from UK, 3. One from Japan, which was supposed to be here today, but FedEx has a delay of some kind. It was supposed to be here today. So I have a Japanese record that was delivered really quickly. They just shipped it on last Friday, and it's here already. It's in Philadelphia area, but delayed by FedEx, not by Japan. I have one from Germany coming, and I have one from UK coming. Oh, yeah, you can go right to 20. Cool. I would imagine it would gray out the option to use. I hope, right? Does eBay have the programming in place if your value is $24 and it blocks out the ability to even select standard envelope? I would think. Oh, I know, Dawn. Once again, the poor Canadians, with all the jokes aside, they get reamed with shipping. It's just obscene. To use the word obscene again. Yep. Went up to 63 cents. Yeah, just a few days ago, like a week ago. 23rd, 24th, something like that. Yep, and so does Dawn talks about it all the time. And there was whole conversations taking place with Dawn and her Canadian brethren about those Pony Express type systems you guys have to jump across the border and stuff. But supposedly the savings are pretty substantial. I know Dawn uses that all the time, right? She ships all her shipping. She goes like twice a week to some strange little place, and they bring all the stuff across the border. Sneak, whatever you got to do. You just wish they would add photos. Yeah, there's so many. Exactly. There's quite a few items you think they would like. The postcards the postcards are relatively new. It started with just a sport card thing, right? But yeah, postcards, photos, probably a bunch of other things. Any small pieces of paper, trade cards, luggage tags, all that kind of stuff. Stallion Express. That's the one. Exactly. Stamps. Definitely stamps, man. Right. Yep. Yep. Sorry, I think I said these before. I truly feel for the Canadians. They get reamed when it comes to postage. It's just ridiculous. And it takes forever to get across their country, too. It's a big country. But I joked, but it's true. It's so, relatively speaking, so sparsely populated. I guess that adds to the length of time it takes to get where in the U.S. we have so much greater population, more areas of industry and all that stuff. So the chain, it moves things across much more quickly than it does in Canada, which is sprawling thousands of miles of nothing. Do I send on Discogs? I sell. Yes, I do. I sell on Discogs, and I also buy on Discogs. I'm a huge record guy, Morris. I love records because I have 3 orders right now pending from Japan, Germany, and UK. But yes, I sell records on. I have a video about selling records on Discogs, as a matter of fact, Morris. So if you want to check that out after the show, go into my playlists, and you'll see I have a whole video about. It's kind of an intro video to Discogs and how to sell on it. If anybody wants any more information on that, I'd be delighted to a video about that. I know most of the people that hang out in the live shows are ephemera people, but yeah, I'm a huge record lover, seller, buyer, listener. It does gray it out. Yeah, that's weird. Oh, did you really? Yeah, who was saying, was it the last show or somebody else's show? Somebody was saying that there was a lot of issues with the individual. If you go to like the mom and pop post office locally, some people were refusing, or some of the post office personnel, sorry, I'm talking too quickly, were refusing to accept them or something because they thought it was like 70 cents instead of 60 cents or whatever. It's just silly. I'm very grateful. One of the greatest things that's happened in our reselling venture here in Jiminy Flipper headquarters is for almost 2 years now. No, a little less than 2 years. Like April or May of 21. So well over a year and a half now. We have pickup right on my front porch. We have a wonderful mail lady who comes. We give her Christmas gifts. We give her a little bonus. We buy her things all year round. I give her a Starbucks card. I hand her $10 because she saves me so much time. She takes everything we have, no matter what it is, no matter how big or heavy or how many items or how little items, every day. Takes all my stuff right off my porch. It's the best feeling in the world because I hated going to the post office. And it wasn't like, it was a 5-minute ride. It wasn't a long ride. But when the COVID stuff started and you had to stand a mile apart with masks on, and you're standing there for like 25 minutes to drop off a couple of packages, it was infuriating. So now, thank goodness, I have the luxury of having somebody pick up our stuff every day. Really, especially on a frigid day like this. Excuse me, it's so cool. eBay added an option to list on UK. Yes, I did see that, but I didn't know what the pricing was. Is it 50 cents? Great call, Jackie Jack. I saw that. I was listing something and it said, there was like a little tick box. Would you like to add for UK? And it just said like additional fee. That's really interesting. I would love to do that. I have seen that, Michelle. We talked about that too, Kim. I think it's individual. It came up on a show previously. I'm pretty sure it's individually they need to be 20 and under, but there's still a threshold. I think you could only put 3 cards max. So I guess conceivably up to $60 in value. Correct me if I'm wrong, everybody. You watch the video. Cool. They are, let's put it this way. They are very well educated. The people that buy and sell on whatnot, I actually allude to this in my video, and this is not a derogatory remark of any of us fine eBay people. Your average, I'm making a general statement because it's allowed to, it's my show. Generally speaking, a record buyer that's going to buy something on eBay, run-of-the-mill kind of thing, is not quite as picky as a comparable buyer on Discogs. The people that are on Discogs, it's a very, very intense community. The people really know their stuff. So if you want to dabble in Discogs, especially if you want to sell in Discogs, yeah, you're right. You have to grade properly. It goes beyond that. Again, check out the video. The huge benefit is you don't have to do any pictures, which sounds like a benefit anyway. On Discogs, you can just pull from a huge catalog of already listed things. Chances are, with the exception of 78 records, which can be very hard to find sometimes, but LPs, 45s, almost all the time you'll find a comparable listing, kind of like on Amazon. So you don't do your own picture. It has a stock image And if you want to make any detail, specify anything that's different, like if you're one of the corners on your jacket is a little smudge, you would write that in like kind of a free-form comment box. But yeah, you're right. You have to grade it properly, or you will get crucified, and you will get bad feedback really quickly from people who are maniacal about the condition and accurate description of the records contained within. So it's the only warning, if you will. But if you know your stuff and you're willing to learn about it, it's a great, 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 great platform. I have it. I buy and sell, but they have a really cool feature on Discogs where you can keep, I want to see how they word it. You can keep your collection, it's called. So you go in and you put the same specifics that you would use to list a record. You would put it in for the record that you physically have, and it keeps an inventory for you online, and it gives you a minimum. What's the second one called? Minimum, maximum, and then the middle one is like median, price range, which just fluctuates because it's a marketplace. So you get a kind of a nice summary of the value of your record collection from a low to high end perspective. It's really cool. I love that. So I keep an inventory of all my records. So most of my records. Love Whatnot. Check out Whatnot, everybody, if you haven't been on it. If you're good in chat, can I get a gift card from what? From Discogs. If you do good in your purchase tomorrow, can we get a couple of free cards? That was a circus for you for a couple of days. I'm sorry. What was that, Ralph? Pickup is a wonderful. Oh, without question, Joni. It's almost, it's a shame. Like, you're excited if you get the opportunity to go full time doing eBay or doing reselling in general or whatever, right? It's a huge relief to not, after 30 plus years, I worked on Wall Street and all that stuff. It was such a relief to be able to do this and my shows and everything and just make a living doing this and not have to worry about going to work anymore. You would think you'd be satisfied with that, but sure enough, human nature starts to creep in. Oh, do I really have to go to the post office again? Do I really, you just want to make it simpler and simpler. So to that end, yeah, in April, I think it was April of 21. So a couple of months short of 2 years now, I've had the extreme luxury of having daily pickup. And even when she's off, like if she's off, people are allowed to take off, take a vacation. She lets me know. She writes a little note. Her name is Cynthia. I wish I knew her last name. I'd give her a plug. But Cynthia, the mail lady, she'll write me a card and say, hey, I'm on vacation next week, but don't worry. Joe is filling in for me that week and he already knows to go to your house. So it's just such a convenience and they don't miss a beat either. So the whole place, it's been wonderful. You thought that was always there, Jack? Maybe price went up ever so. Maybe is that a Canadian thing? Maybe the UK thing I think is new. I had never seen it before, and I listed something. I don't remember what. I might have been a print ad, and it gave me that option. It didn't tell me what the price was. What was the price? 50 cents. That might be something to look into. $20 each, 50 total. There you go. And is it true, Kelly? Is it 2 cards? 3 cards? I think is the max you could fit in. Yeah. I can't see the link, Dawn. I'm sorry. I can see it if I go onto my side screen. Hold on YouTube. That is the one, Dawn, right? Thank you very much. Check out that video that Dawn posted. It's about Discogs. It's kind of an introductory how to list on Discogs. If anyone wants to check that out. Thank you very much, Dawn. After this show, of course. But check it out for my music files, audio files. Oh, that's a good call. That is very good tip. You got from Papa. I already had a couple of 20. Nice. Awesome, man. It's good that you're going through that stuff because I know you said you have quite a backstock, right? You're still in the summertime as far as stuff you have to go through. I just closed out my YouTube. Hold on, everybody. Sorry about that. I clicked on Dawn's link and somehow I closed out my YouTube. That was pretty stupid. But I do appreciate you putting that link in there very much, Dawn. Thank you. There we go. Back live and in action. Switch from top chat to live chat. To monitor your chat more effectively, always choose the live chat option. All right, we are back. Poor Canadian. You truly are a poor Canadian if you don't have a Cynthia. Everyone needs a Cynthia in their life. She's been a game changer for our business close to 2 years now. If anything ever happens to her, I might cry. I might cry for a long time too. But she is the best. And it started, one doesn't pick a Cynthia. A Cynthia kind of just comes upon one, from the grace of God, comes down from the heavens. Cynthia was just a byproduct of me going into the U.S. Postal System website. You could put in a request to have pickups done, and you could schedule it, and you can schedule it sort of infinitum, and just have it ongoing. And I did that initially, I guess, a little over 2 years ago, and it worked. We had quite frankly, a complete idiot who everybody hated. And I live in a townhome thing, and so everybody had the same mailman, and he was universally despised. Like, we'd see, the video cameras they have now for the doorbells and all that. The guy would just throw things. He was a miserable guy. It's like, if you don't want to do this, go get another job, or go sell on, even better yet, go sell something on eBay. Help people, Toll collectors are miserable people too. Well, anyway, I digress. So I didn't put a lot of hope into this guy I didn't even want him handling my package. So even though I put a request in, I'm like, forget this. I'm going to go anyway, physically to the post office. And I did. And then along came Cynthia, and our lives have never been the same. Your piles are from August. Okay. Whoopsie-daisy, says Dawn. About time, poor Canadian. I mean, come on. What are the perks of living in that country? From a geopolitical perspective, nothing to do with the land. It's beautiful. I'm saying, what? I told Dawn too. I'm like, why are you there? Just move. She could move 50 miles away and be in the United States. What are you clinging on to? I know, that's bad, Ralph. Download your listings so you could jot some notes to tweak things without flipping screens. To get really complicated, you could pull down an extract of all your listings in a CSV file, and you could technically upload any changes in a CSV file, but that's pretty complicated. And there's a level of proficiency you probably have to have in order to make those tweaks and then upload everything back. I think you'd probably be better off just having a split screen scenario, personally. Good old Annie from eBay School, who legend has it will be back shortly, has a video series about how to do those uploads via CSV to eBay. If you want to check it out, Annie is eBay School on the YouTubes. As Kelly says, yes. Healthcare. You get what you pay for. That's my argument. Look at the UK. They're reeling. The whole country's on strike. You can't. Don't get me started. Socialism is not the way. Thank you very much, Chappie. I appreciate it. Hopefully a little bit of levity mixed in within it. It's an honest show. Just hanging out, talking with people, like-minded individuals. Complications unwelcome. Yeah, it could get messy there. Do a split screen. Do you have a Windows machine, Kim? Just pin one window to the left, one window to the right. Mac has the same thing. They just call it something different. Free healthcare. Again, you get what you pay for, man. Less chance of getting shot. Oh, Dawn. Well, family is a big one. But again, when you say here, you're so close. Like, you could drive an hour. I don't know. But Dawn's not a fan of driving. All right. Time we looking? 7:30 already. Flying by here. I'm going to say it one more time. I'm amazed at the amount of feedback that I've been getting on eBay. Feedback. Unbelievable. Just constant feedback since I've been doing postcards. For years, I've been doing the print ads. 1 out of every 15, if you're lucky, you'd get a feedback. Somebody in the kind enough to say thanks or whatever. I get these glowing reviews. It's just such a pleasure. Just got another one. This was actually sheet music. But they all have a common theme, as I brought up in one of my shows. Excellent transaction, fast shipping, packaged well. Card is in beautiful shape, well packaged and arrived quickly. Very positive, happy experience. 5-star seller. I'm very happy I purchased this print ad. It is in pristine condition. The price was right. It was very well packaged and sent quickly. Arrived in perfect condition. Another postcard. Fast shipping. Item as described. Would deal with again. I love the feedback I'm getting ever since I started doing postcards. It's like now I'm almost expecting feedback on every sale. Like, I've gone up a lot in take it all with a grain of salt. I know it doesn't probably mean that much as it used to potentially, but it's always a good thing to see. I really like, it's not so much the number. I love to see that people are happy with the stuff. You know, you can get a lot of information from your feedback from your customers, right? Yeah. Is it a rolling? I don't know what the defect. Each one of the, I know negative is a year. I think it stays on for a year. Yeah. Each one of these things has a rolling period of like 30, 60, 90 days, something like that. Great question, Jackie Jack. We might have to do a little Googling to see what it is for the defect rate, but that falls off after a certain period too. I don't know what that period is though. I think it differs based on the same thing with like late shipments can go up and down, and it goes back to zero after a certain period. I don't know what those periods are. 90 days, says Ralph. Yeah, it might be 90 days. The negative is a big one. God forbid you get a negative, it's stuck with you for a year, but it does fall off. It's unbelievable that you think private healthcare is scary. 500 characters is still far too much. If you have to cancel an item because it's out of stock, what's another defect reason? If you cancel an item, if you can't fulfill an order on a fault of your own, they can count as a defect. Dreamy Buys. I think you were selling postcard collectors, or people just want a memory of a certain time and place. Ooh, interesting. I would imagine most people that are buying a postcard collectors, it's an incredibly huge base of collectors postcards. Top 2 or 3 collectible on the planet, supposedly. Stamps, coins, postcards are the 3 big ones. I know the sport card thing is probably catching up, but that's my understanding. I think, as CJ wrote, in no specific order: coins, postcards, and stamps. The 3 most collected things in the world, or at a minimum in our fair land of the United States / Canada. If I just do one, it's one of those things where you have to use your head instead of your heart. The most profitable of those 3 is records. The highest sell-through for me is probably postcards, believe it or not. Records is close. Print ads do not have a high sell-through. Print ads are long tail, but I'll tell you what, they sell like everything else that's long tail. If you have a lot of them, and I have 100,000 sitting next to me, I talk with Dawn about that too. She found a store. I think the guy had like 100,000 ads. You know, if I had 100,000 ads, I could probably retire in a year, retire from even doing eBay. You know, I'd sell a lot of ads, but I think that's the order. Pragmatically speaking, it would probably be a postcard thing, even though records are the highest profit for me. But I want to, if I could even just focus on those 3 essentially, which kind of is a scenario now, but just build, scale each one of those in a huge way, I'd be very happy if those are the 3 things I sold pretty much exclusively. Dawn. Well, if you sell on another channel and forgot to take it down off eBay. Yeah, well, that's another thing that can happen a lot. Which is why some of those third-party tools are really cool. The ones that automatically delete an image that you have cross-posted, whatever the word is. Yes, Kelly is correct. I guess I started in earnest in September of last year. October, November, December, January. Wow, I'm actually in month 5. But yes, absolutely very new. But I love them. I genuinely love them. You've sold used book for a few years. I couldn't find another street to buy. Yeah, defect is a bad thing. Defect means you can't fulfill an order. There's probably a few other scenarios, but I think that's the most common one. You like a scenario like that. You have a listing on eBay and you've cross-listed it on Etsy. It sells on Etsy. You forgot to take it off of eBay. It sells again on eBay. You don't have the item anymore because it's already sold on Etsy. You have to do the walk of shame and write the buyer and say, I'm so sorry. Looks like this item was sold. And you try to beg, borrow, and steal. Would you like something else in lieu of that? I would offer like a free item. Anything you got to do to, 1, not get a negative, and 2, not get a defect. The defect thing, I don't think is, until you get to a certain level, I don't know what the impact is. It can hurt your top rated status if you exceed a certain percentage, but it's also just think about it. It's bad business. If you bought something, like me, if I love my record, I'm all excited, and I finally find this record I've been looking forever, and it's in Germany, and I'm willing to pay $40 to ship it because I want this record. And a week later they say, oh, sorry, I sold this already. You want something else? I'd be furious, So try to think like your buyer in general with everything we do, all the service elements of what we do. There's a big component with that. We are in a service industry. We're business owners. Unique postcard displays. Mars, I'm not sure about that. If Popeye comes back, if you're familiar with John Popeye's postcards, he used to sell all the time in antique booths, like in booth in antique malls and stuff. And he's sold in shows. He might be able to speak to the presentation piece of it. Hopefully he'll be back. He's eating some Mexican food as we speak. If I had the know and resources, you'd be wholesale. Buy from manufacturers, we package a bundle. Also, I was not sure. That's awesome. I always have for cross-lists. Do you cross-list on other sites or sell on other sites? Is it worth it? In my case, well, two examples is I tried to cross-list on HIP to woeful effect and wound up deleting the store after a month because the sync, which is conceptually a great idea, where they'll sync. I know you know this, Mark. They'll sync everything that you have in eBay over to HIP. As far as postcards, I'm talking. Everything was put into the incorrect category on HIP, so I couldn't sell anything. I sold one card in a month, one card. And I know Kelly bailed too after a couple of months, and he obviously has tens of thousands of cards probably over there. But same thing, he had trouble with the sweep over from eBay to HIP. He had problems with all that stuff. And then most importantly to me, the customer service just went down the tubes when I called them out on them. I'm like, look, what's going on, man? You keep putting stuff in UK. It's supposed to be New Jersey. The first couple of emails were very pleasant, and then the unfortunately the line went silent after that, so I bailed on them. I have some stuff on Etsy too that I cross-listed, but Etsy, I have such a small footprint on Etsy. But anyway, if anybody wants to answer their thing here, I'm kind of resigned to the fact that I'm pretty much on eBay, with the exception of Discogs. I do have a nice little, I have some stuff on Discogs, and I think that's an extremely valid platform if you're into music. CD. By the way, it's not just records. It's CDs. You could sell cassettes, everything. Physical media, music. 78s. I know, Dawn. I felt so bad for you. That's, again, I'm going to say it. Down below is a couple of links to some items I used. That trimmer, had Dawn used her trimmer, the real good one that I list down below, this never would have happened. But if you use a cheaper brand or a cheaper, smaller trimmer, you run the risk. It's awful, where the paper could potentially get, snarled up when you're trying to cut off an edge. Again, I don't want to jinx myself because I already jinxed myself with my end and sell similar, saying that it's never happened to me. But I've never ruined a piece of paper by using my phenomenal trimmer. Absolutely. That's why I always I always trim my edges so they're pristine. You have to do that. You have to do a scan. That's why I love using again, down below, my A3 scanner. It captures the whole thing. Same thing with postcards, truth to be said. Popeye did an amazing video about how to properly scan, if you use a duplex scanner like this, your postcard, so that you have a true, it gives, I don't know, you could tweak it to like 1/4 of an inch or whatever the dimensions are around the border. So it captures the entire card. You're not cropping in and giving like this pristine view, and meanwhile the outside was chewed by a dog. Truth in advertising. Be truthful. You're going to screw yourself. You're going to get bad feedback. You're going to get somebody upset, want to return. Just be honest. People buy things with defects all the time. The postcards, half the postcards I have, not half, some of the postcards I have some smudging on them or have like a little chunk out of a corner and stuff. I'm open about that. I'll say it right in the description. It's very evident when they look at the scans, and I've never had a problem. Check out Popeye's video. He has it's titled something like you're scanning your postcards wrong. Really good video. If anybody, and it's pretty much universal. The settings might be slightly different depending on the brand you have, but the Epsons are pretty much universal as far as the interface and how to make those adjustments. They're all sort of comparable, but it's definitely a good idea. Make sure you capture the whole card. Do it right. Is that what that one's called? Fiscals. Yeah, that's crazy. I agree. You got to show everything, Jay Smith. Be upfront, be honest. A lot of people, especially with the print ads, if you think about it, I've mentioned this in many times in some of the videos. Don't worry so much about the edges. Don't have to be perfect, even if you do trim them, as long as you're not compromising the image or the writing. They're going to be, most 9 times out of 10, they're going to be framed anyway. So that's why that border is really important around a print ad. It provides that little space for a 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch trim with the ad. It's going to get rid of all that stuff anyway. So as long as the bulk of your ad is in good condition, but I do use a trimmer, which is listed below, to make it as straight as possible. Operator error had to be. Welcome back, Popeye. Slipping into a food coma. No problem, man. Welcome back. Popeye, question came up earlier in the chat. Let me pull it up for you, and I deferred to you. If you had any recommendations as far as displaying your postcards, if you were in an environment where you were going to, like at a show or if you had a booth in an antique mall or something. Where was the question? I'm sorry. Whoever wrote that question, you want to write it again? Popeye is here to answer your questions. I just voted him in as the authority. Here we go. Morris C says, from Canada, by the way. C stands for Canada. Popeye, anything to speak to on that question? And guys, if you will bear with me for about 45 seconds, I'll be right back. Take a look at Popeye's response. I'll be right back. All right, everybody, I am back. Sorry about that. Thank you for your patience. Was it 45 seconds? Food coma. Spoke to Hip today. Basically, Hip syncs from your eBay. You got to manually sync the other way around. Poor Canadian, just so you know, again, I'm speaking from my experience. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I just ran up and down a flight of stairs. The problem with the sync is, unfortunately, when they sync from eBay to Hip postcard, more than half of my listings, which was under 2,000, were miscategorized. They were put in wrong countries, let alone wrong states. But if I had the famous one that was the most offensive to me was New Jersey. I had a couple hundred New Jersey postcards, and they were categorized in Jersey in the UK. And they didn't have a good way to fix all of that. I had to go in one by one, and it was just very frustrating. So just be leery about that. Joe asked what was for dinner. I think he said something on the Mexican front. Right. Some of that thinner paper is susceptible to getting screwed up. You frame postcards in groups such as your hometown. That's cool. That's a nice idea. Chappie. Burritos and tamales. Nice. Yeah, Kelly tried. Kelly got I think he's told everybody he's got a free offer for a nice chunk of, was it 3-month trial or something he was going to get for free. And they basically begged him kind of to come back. He tried, and same kind of woes, unfortunately. The sync thing is just awful. It's a great idea on paper, but doesn't work. You tried Popeye's suggestion, but failed because you had a Canon. Kim, I would just go to YouTube, search your specific scanner, and maybe just look for some guidance as far as how to do tweaks like that. They're all sort of the same. You just want to create a border that is wider and longer, exceeds the dimensions of your postcard, and have that as kind of a universal setting. So any way you can do that, it just assures that you get you capture every bit of the postcard. Yeah, it's less crowded because everybody's leaving it. That's the problem. Correct on. No problem, Popeye. Thank you. Yeah, if you have any advice. Super responsive when I left them. That's exactly what happened to me, man. Like they apologized at first for the error with the Canadian, with the Jersey thing. and going to open a ticket to our service team. All this nonsense. They probably have 5 people sitting in a living room, but their service team was notified. All this stuff, whatever. The technical team, and nothing happened. And they just stopped writing me because maybe I was being a pain in the neck, but I was trying to prove the point. Like every day it would happen. I'm like, here's another 50 I did today. Same thing. Here's another 50, and they just stopped writing me back. So I stopped paying them. It always stinks when you pay more. If you, as a general rule, if you're paying more for a membership to a site or whatever than you're yielding, than you're getting in return in a month, might be a good idea to drop that membership. The Matsy asked for Christmas cards and money. Cool. Magazine Rock. There you go. Magazine Rack. And there's a link for said magazine rack. If you want to check that out, Morris. How collectors display them. Poor Canadian jersey. It was the bane of my existence for for that whole month that I had. I think it was October I was doing it. I was really excited initially because, again, conceptually the idea is wonderful. Like you don't have to use the third party to bring listings over, like Vendu all this perfectly. You could just, they had a really cool on paper program that goes into, you link your eBay account, it brings everything over that fits, that's under the collectibles, postcards category, and brings them all over. And it's relatively fast too. It brings over the pictures, brings over everything. There's not really, unlike Etsy, unfortunately, Etsy has a very different interface when it comes to like specifics that you have to put in, where you have blocks of, like if I do in my eBay listings, I have a link to my eBay store. If I link everything to Etsy, it captures that. So I have to like go in physically and delete all those references to my eBay store and an Etsy listing, excuse me. HIP doesn't have any of that stuff, but unfortunately Jersey, as he said, they're bringing stuff into the wrong country. And there's just no way, it's hard enough to sell anything on HIP as it is, let alone if I have an Atlantic City, New Jersey in a Jersey, United Kingdom category, it's going to make it a little tough. Collectors usually top loaders in box or on pages like people do with ball cards. Oh, okay, cool. In an album, right. Jersey. There you go. Click the link below, Morris. Thank you. Yeah, scan the border settings for the scanner. Just check it out on YouTube. There's instructional videos for virtually anything. Put the specifics of you said it was a Canon. Just put the specifics in for your item. Whoa. Yeah, it's like a Cajun catfish. And again, I don't mean to poo-poo on anybody's food or what they like, but man, catfish just reeks. I love fish. Can't get into catfish. The smell is just, it smells like low tide. You know what I mean? Awful. Can't eat catfish. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're exactly. Their team is, it's 2 or 3 people. And I feel bad because they could be really good. Like I think their heart is in the right place. I know from other shows I watched, like the owner was on or whatever. He's a collector. The whole, how it started was a good story. The idea behind it is really good. I love the idea of focusing a site solely on postcard stamps, whatever you dabble in comics. It could be great, but it's just not, And then, as Kelly said, and as I've said, the worst of all, it's bad enough that the system stuff, which I'm not saying it's easy to do, but if you're going to have an option like that to sync stores, make sure it works or take it down. Don't keep having it running and having it all screwed up. There's a flurry of people that try this platform for a month and bail because of the same type of issues, And even initially, their service was, like Papa says, it's probably a guy sitting there, but they were great. The first couple things, I'm so sorry, we're going to work with you to get through. And I'm like, okay, cool. Problems happen, not a big deal. Let's work through it. Then they just vanished because I think they realized they can't fix it, got annoyed, and bye-bye, Kelly used to give us stats on how many stores are in HIP postcard right now. The number keeps dwindling, unfortunately. And obviously, there's people like the Popeyes, the Kellys, the Connies of the world, Mark. If they wanted to, they could make some money by bringing these big players and postcards over to their platform. But you got to make it right. Shut it down and get it working, or don't offer that sync option. Make people use a third party or whatever, and it'd probably be better because you could go in and do it right. As opposed to having because it was more of a mess. it was so much worse than just the whatever the monthly fee was. It was the aggravation and the physical work. I had to go in and keep changing categories, which is not very user-friendly thing to do, by the way, on HIP. Much easier to do on eBay. Change categories from get out of Jersey, UK, and back into United. You have to get out of UK, out of England, out of British Isles, into United States, into North America. Like, it took like 20 steps to move one listing from Jersey, UK to where it belongs in New Jersey, United States. Hey, Charles, welcome to the show. Great to have you, man. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying warm. The first half hour of tonight's show was brought to you by the Weather Channel, as all we did was talk about how cold it is all over the place. That's why he left in March. Yeah, I went back a couple years too. Fees were higher than solds, exactly. Right. Yeah, 400 for 3 months is just with all the added aggravation, right? And I know you got the free membership, but the aggravation costs money. The time you're spending going back and forth with these people while they still responded and trying to right the wrongs that were done by this lousy sync process, it cost. It was very, very, very aggravating scenario. I wish they would get their act together. I would love to be part of a platform like that, devoted solely to postcards and postcard people interacting. It would be a great option to expand upon your eBay presence into something like that. Jackie Jack, Popeye has a wonderful video entitled "You're Scanning Your Postcards Wrong," right, John? Something like that. I would highly recommend. And Dawn Wright, if you're in the vicinity of maybe linking that, if you go to Popeye's channel, he has a great video fairly recently, a month or two ago, how to set your settings up on a duplex scanner to make sure that you get the border capture on every one. It's a great video. There's going to be little nuances within each scanner again, but the general idea is pretty much the same. It might be a matter of how you get to that button or whatever, or that screen, but it's kind of the same general philosophy. You're showing them out of cards in a magazine rack. Yes, I just got Amazon affiliates, everybody. So if you would like to, I mean, I was linking that thing for free, quote unquote, for a year. So it's the same exact product, and I love the products. That's the only reason I even put them in there. I would never put anything in there that I didn't like and use daily. Yes. Yep. Like I said, Popeye has a great video. It's called something like "You're Scanning Your Postcards Wrong." If you want to just check out Popeye's channel, or maybe Dawn will put a link in there. She probably will. Or Popeye could put a link. Popeye has a wrench now. Tango off on eBay. Cool. Dawn having dinner at 8 o'clock at night. All right, Dawn, enjoy. Dinner. Wow, enjoy, Michelle. Everybody having late dinners here. It's almost bedtime. You guys are eating dinner. The ice melted. Oh, very cool. Enjoy, Michelle. Have a great time, and thanks for coming in. About 100 Tuck holiday calls. Oh, you got 100 Tuck holiday calls last night. Very cool. Popeye's an ideas guy. Paperpalooza was Popeye's brainchild. He's the ideas guy. And then Ben kind of took over from the day-to-day stuff, the physical implementation of all these ideas. But Popeye's the idea guy. HIP handles this mailing list. That's interesting. When you buy from a deal, you're automatically added to that dealer's generate. Oh, get out. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. There's a lot of things they need to get their act together on. Great point, Kelly. And same thing with eBay, by the way. Same thing with any platform. If you have a nice book of business, if you will, with people that follow you, that have been buying you for years, they'll follow you to other sites if you go there. That's the ultimate. I was talking about this in the last show about the whole promoted listings, to promote or not to promote in certain categories. I'm sure you can get away with not promoting. But especially if you have, use eBay as an example, I don't know what a good number is. If you have 10,000 followers in your eBay store, every time you list something, 10,000 people are notified that you listed that item, right? If you're a postcard guy, if you're a print ad guy, if you're an ephemera guy, if you're a record guy, if you're a whatever guy or gal, you're going to get this instant pool of people that are going to be interested in your items, 10,000. So even if like 10% of that population buys from me, that's 1,000 buyers. So of course you don't have to promote if you're in that kind of a scenario. But for most of us that are still on the human level that don't have 10,000 people following their store, you need to have some sort of leg up on your competition. And that's where the promoted thing comes into play. Although I'd argue if everybody's promoting, what advantage do you really have? Yeah, Mark says it well. Mark tried too. Mark bailed on Hip. Did you have a big presence on Hip, Mark? Did you have a bunch of listings and you bailed? There you go. Popeye's video. I'm assuming that's the video we were alluding to for Kim and anybody else interested on how to properly scan your postcard so that you get the whole image captured each and every time. Hey, Ken, how you doing? Ken likes postcards. What does it say? I like postcards. Ken likes postcards. Welcome to the show, Ken. Tried Hip, no traffic. What is up? Lost Relics. What a cool name with a groovy owl in your little icon thing. Welcome to the show, Lost Relics. Great to have you. I agree, though. That aside from all the technical junk that and issues they have, you're right. Overall, the traffic is just, I'm not saying they have no traffic, but it's dwarfed by eBay, Etsy, Amazon, of course. That's probably the biggest obstacle. But I would argue, in order to get some traffic and some notoriety, you have to have these things worked out before you roll out a feature like that. It's a great idea to be able to, in push of a button, literally bring everything over from somebody. If you got a Popeye, you got a Kelly, 30, 40,000 listings. Press a button, and with a fairly reasonable period of time, you could have all those listings automatically synced with Hip with no upfront charges, by the way, which is a nice selling point. You're not paying 20, 50 cents per, which would be a fortune, right? Free, no insertion fees. You pay on the back end when you sell. If you're going to hype that up as a great feature of your site, you better follow through or don't have as a feature. That's my thing. That's what I get aggravated with Hip. They would probably have a lot more traffic if they had a more successful way of bringing over items and certainly answering people's questions and not bailing on them. Amazon, I found Amazon Canada. Oh, I have no idea, Mars. I don't care. If you like the item, get the item. I could care less about quite frankly, the affiliate thing. I don't even know how it works. I didn't know it was an option. Dawn had to tell me. I put all these links for everybody because I like the items and I use them. And a whole bunch of people have purchased the same scanners and the same trimmers and stuff just because they like them. And they all have rave reviews about them. So whatever you got to do to get it. And I hope you enjoy them. And as always, if you have any questions or anything, let me know. Mark is here. Christmas craft sales. Oh, yeah. Popeye's got a great channel. Poor Canadian, were you not aware of that? That was the fiasco with me. I had hundreds that I did pick up from Popeye in one of his whatnot auctions. I bought a couple 100, 500 New Jersey postcards, all of which have been selling really well on eBay. I thought they would do the same on Hip, or at least give me an opportunity to sell on Hip. But yeah, they all got put into UK Jersey. And good luck trying to get them out of there, poor Canadian. You have to do it physically, manually, one by one. It takes donkey's years, as they say in Canada. Idea guy. That's all right. Yeah, see, when Popeye and I were growing up, they didn't have all these acronyms for all these things, attention deficit, hyper. We just said the kid was hyper, and now it's called ABCD. Like, they have names for everything. Some might say it's a little ridiculous. Just saying. You can't just be hyper anymore. You have to have a condition. So anyway. Current magazines as an investment. Without question, Chappie. Current everything new will be old at some point, right? The problem is lifespans are relatively short, even if we live through them. And if you just wanted to get into collecting something now in your mid-50s, or like I am, mid-50s or 70 or even 40, by the time they get vintage, you might be too old or dead. That's the only thing. That's a gloomy forecast, but unfortunately it's true. But yeah, I totally think that's true, man. Collect things now, and it can be said. I mean, anybody who's old enough to remember these things, like, when me, my baseball card collecting days were in the 70s. That's when I was collecting baseball cards. They were current players in the 70s. It was the 70s, right? I had no idea in the 70s that the stuff I was playing with and collecting with friends 40 years later would be worth a fortune. Nobody had the slightest idea of putting them in like Popeye said earlier, into like photo albums or anything, keeping them pristine. It wasn't even a thought. So I'm sure there's something equivalent nowadays that we use all the time and never like think about, that in 100 years somebody's going to go, oh, it's a genuine 2020 guitar pick. Wow, that's worth that cost me a dime. It's funny how that works. Very mundane postcards. If you think about what a postcard is, a very mundane, stupid little piece of paper that people would just write little notes on. And now they're collected. I mean, it was a very silly thing at the time that they would probably laugh at us, the people that the really old ones. So I guess that could be true. 30,000 you had on Hip. And did you have a wall full of... Now, I know you probably were in there before. I'm not even talking about the fiasco that everybody knows about with Hip and eBay on the selling part, the back end part where things were selling and it wasn't syncing. That's a problem. My problem's on the front end. They couldn't, like we just saw somebody else has, probably poor Canadian, has a handful of cards that are listed in a UK category instead of state of New Jersey. Like, that's my problem. It's not the sync thing. I'd happily go in if I'm selling on Hip and just end them on eBay. I'm not that lazy. I don't care. But if you can't even categorize things properly, man, that's out of control. Bonanza, I have never dabbled in. I've heard nothing but horror stories of that platform, so I won't try it. Yeah, great to have you. Excuse me as I keep choking on the drink. Correct, Mark. I am young and spunky, as a matter of fact. Yeah, Bonanza is like the Kmart of resellers, what I heard. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It's not funny, but it is. Like, all these things just started coming out that nobody's ever heard of. Oh, the infomercials, right? If you have a case of BCW, what is BCW? IBS, all these things that people have had forever that we didn't have a need to have like an individual name and acronym for every one of these things. You can't just say somebody's lazy anymore. No, they have this, and this. And come on. What's up, Swan Picker? How you doing? Welcome to the show. Cool. That's a good thing. Oh, Mark has a great channel, Charles. Absolutely. Highly recommend everybody check out Mark's channel. I appreciate Mark beaming in from the state of Tennessee tonight on the road, but taking the time to check into the Jiminy Flip It program. I appreciate that, Mark. That's right. Exactly right. Yeah. Or trading. We used to trade all the time. I'll give you a Pete Rose, you give me a Mike Schmidt, whatever, right? Exactly. Nobody ever thought of putting them. I can tell you, as a matter of fact, as somebody who did that then, no. And now, had I done that, or even it's something that you can't conceive of at the time. So the original question was, do you think there's anything, contemporary that'll become collectible? Of course it will. And it could be things. It's probably going to be a bunch of stuff we would never think of now, that as time goes on will suddenly become classic or vintage. The funniest word is vintage to me. When you if it's described as 20 years, 2003, which is like last night. Something from 2003 is now a vintage item. It's just laughable, but it's all perspective. In the year 2100, you're going to say, oh, wow, it's a 1993 Nirvana record. Wow, that's ancient. It's so funny. That's what time does. Modern dental reminder postcards. $4.65. That's right. And Hip will still be trying to get their sync together. No problem. Enjoy your dinner first and foremost. But yeah, you have to try to desync that stuff. I'm really sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but yeah, if anybody doesn't know that and has a Hip store now and you do postcards, take a look. If you have any New Jersey postcards, that's only one example. There was several others which now escape me. That was the most egregious one, though. The New Jersey was ridiculous. Hundreds and hundreds. And like a fool, I went in and manually changed them all, and then I went to bail on the store because it was a joke. But anyway, great to have you, Poor Canadian. Thanks for coming in. Exactly, Dawn. Yes, but that they were real. The first issue, which I had with Cindy Crawford, I had it. What was that? 98. Again, that seems like yesterday to me, but I had that. I remember I got it because everybody loves Cindy Crawford, and that was going for ridiculous money a couple of years ago. And then I think it's kind of come back to reality. But The worst site out there is the site you're on but not listing. You list your sell, but there's some sites, I think you would agree, Ralph, that have a much bigger presence than others. You might be spending time listing on something like Hip or Bonanza that's falling on deaf ears. If you did comparable listings on eBay or Amazon or Etsy or Discogs, you'd have a much higher chance of selling that item. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, eBay worked out their stuff. Hopefully, Hip will follow suit. Oh, Dawn. See, Dawn speaks from a younger vantage point. Everything we talk about, Dawn always takes the modern approach to. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's it's a perspective, Dawn. You'll see when you're a little bit older and you have 10-year-olds, 20-year-olds doing things very differently than what you've done, and they come up with names for something we can't even imagine right now. You might say, "Why don't you just call that the sun?" No, it's not the sun. The northeast quadrant of the sun is the plexus. It's like that, you know. It's like taking something that's so simple and carving it into unnecessary niches. But anyway, what's up, postcard guy? Good to have you, man. I'm sure it's a balmy 70. Florida's still been very warm through this cold spell, so I hope you're enjoying the warmth down there. It's brutally cold here and most of the country. Mighty righty, where is... Uh-oh. Dawn is one of the original wrenches, isn't she? Oh, yeah. He must think you're nuts. But he took the trip with you, so kudos to the father-in-law. The one on the left. She's got it on hers, doesn't she? I see it. Whitney postcards. I don't know what Whitney postcards are either, Charles, so don't feel alone in this. You mean the goose. Oh, you mean her little thing. Stan, again, omnipresent on a first name basis with most of our planet, in case you didn't know. Mark, if you told me how much postcards bring in a year after you, people kind of laugh the first time they hear what I sell until they bring six figures, then they choke. That's right. Turning a laugh to a choke. That's on a t-shirt. It's all right. Exactly, Chappie. It's all ephemera. The definition of ephemera, correct me if I'm wrong, it's basically something that kind of says it was supposed to be a one-time use and it's disposable. Vis-a-vis, if you think about it, a newspaper is a daily thing. So it should become disposable the next day. It's irrelevant because we have a new day, right? Magazines to some extent. But yeah, receipts, exactly. Postal receipt. Every time we go to the post office and you get a receipt, keep it, because in 100 years, people are going to buy and sell those on, but not on HIP because they won't have the sync working yet. But they'll be working on it. Our great-grandchildren will be going through the same stuff we're going through on HIP. He did bring in six figures last week. He brought 6 figures on his Disney cards. -1 in New Hampshire. Ay, Chihuahua. Where are we now? We're at 17 here, holding at 17, but feels like 6. Again, I'd argue it's almost semantics. Like, really, do you think if you walked outside and somebody said, all right, this is 16 degrees, you go out for a minute, say it's freezing, come in, this is 6 degrees. You think it's going to really feel that different? No, it's going to be cold. If I found out that I could have been treated with a little pill to channel all the thoughts and ideas I could have acted on. I know. And though she's not really ill, there's a little yellow pill. Anybody ever hear that song? Mother's Little Helper, Rolling Stones. All right, you be back, Swan Picker. Your grandsons, Lane and Brantley, how you doing? How you doing? Charles's grandsons, Grandpa's grandsons, Lane and Brantley. Welcome to the show. Yeah, you do postcards. There you go. Cameron is here. Welcome, Cameron. Happy Friday to you as well. Better late than never, as they say. But it's always early. All these people, it's always early on the West Coast. Yeah, we talked about that. Who was talking about on the show lottery tickets? Somebody Can't remember. I apologize. I don't remember who it was. Somebody said they collected, I think, bought a haul of lottery tickets, unused lottery tickets, and apparently made some money on them too. Yeah, scratch offs. That's crazy. But that's an example of a very mundane, silly thing from the now that nobody would ever think would have any value. But as time goes on, everything suddenly becomes valuable and collectible. Yes, I did too. We talked about that on Monday, I think. A really cool haul video. So check out Cameron's channel as well, who goes by two different names because I don't think it was Cameron's channel. Wasn't it the post? What is the other one? I'm sorry. Parker Postcards. I think that's where the video is. So check that out. Yeah, we got Dawn saying hi to the grandkids too. Your son Zach is in Flippin' Trainer. Welcome. Is Zach on board watching the Jiminy Flip It program? Cool, Cameron. Welcome home. Does he really? Why am I not surprised? You never know is right. Yeah, really cool video over on his Parker. Is it Parker's plural or Parker? I don't remember. Parker's Postcards. Look for that on the YouTubes. And again, I really appreciate all you being here tonight on a Friday, frigid cold Friday night in most of our nation. As balloons fly over our country spying on us and we do nothing about them. But the Mexican food is still good. You can order almost anything on Amazon and get it the same day or the next day. So is it really that bad? No. That's the guy. Yeah, check out his channel. Oh, Dawn looks like she probably already... Dawn, thank you very much. I'm going to assume without clicking on it that it's probably the aforementioned Parker Postcards video. Thank you. I take that as a compliment, Ralph. I'll be performing 60 songs tomorrow night live for the umpteenth millionth time, remembering chords, lead lines, lyrics that have been cemented in my brain from birth. That's the guy. Good work, Jackie Jack. Now you need to watch another 10 of them. Dawn curtsies. Well done. Jim, you wrote me an email, Mark. JiminyFlipIt@gmail.com. Goes for anybody. If you want questions, comments, concerns, ideas, suggestions, feel free to write me anytime. JiminyFlipIt@gmail.com. I get a lot of emails from everybody. It's always fun. Or Dawn. She would. But yeah, just JiminyFlipIt@gmail. You wrote me an email, Mark. Go into your send file. Aren't you an IT guy? I don't sell on Amazon. No, I do not, Morris. There you go, Dawn. Thank you. I did open an Amazon seller account or whatever you call it. What year is this? 23. My God. Probably like 6-7 years ago. I don't remember what our initial, it was my wife and I doing some stuff together. I don't remember what the initial thought was, what we were going to sell on Amazon. It might have been the book thing where everybody was just scanning books. We used to, yeah, it was books because we used to go, probably alluded to this. She used to dive do the dumpster diving thing. We get free magazines. But when my girls were a little bit younger, we used to take them all the time to Barnes and Noble and just like hang out on a Sunday afternoon and get coffee and look at books. It was a really nice, relaxing place to be. And yeah, we had the scanner thing. We had an Amazon. We would just go and try to look for books that were on sale and see if we could resell them on Amazon. So I did do that for a little bit, but I bailed on that pretty quickly. It wasn't that lucrative to me, and it seemed complicated. And now, being pretty much primarily anyway ephemera based, I don't know what sort of presence ephemera sellers have on Amazon. And then that whole gating thing, you can't get into categories you want to get into, turned me off to it. I know people make a fortune on Amazon, so I'm definitely not making fun of or discouraging anybody from going on Amazon. For me personally, I haven't seen a good way to get in there and sell the stuff I have. Oh, cool. Okay, well. So yeah, same with me, Dawn. We made a couple of bucks, I think, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. You're on your laptop, so not on this email. Okay, no problem. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Mars. That whole gating, if you're familiar with it, gating means they shut a gate on certain categories. Like you have to be, you have to know the secret password to get in. And I've heard it's a kind of a pain in the neck to do that, and they only accept certain people. I don't know. Admittedly I don't know much about Amazon selling other than the books thing I did a few years ago, where I would walk around walk around Barnes and Noble with a gun and go beep beep beep. Oh, you can see the red. That's kind of cool. And I would scan books. I just blinded half the crew. I'm sorry. I would scan books and try to resell them from the bookstore. You know, at the time we used to get excited if we could make like $5 on $4, you know, but it wasn't really good. Collectibles books, the dental books, you didn't follow through. Yeah, it just seems fairly complicated. I'm not afraid of new things, honestly. Like I like HIP was new. Like I don't mind trying a new site and learning about it and everything. And Amazon is probably the mother of all. It is. It's not probably. It is the mother of all reselling sites. But I guess if I was a video game guy or you know, the more common stuff that would sell on or comics, even I think sell on Amazon, I might be much more into it. But I just don't source or sell this type of stuff that seems to be very popular on Amazon. I don't know if there's a print ad contingency on Amazon, you know, or postcards. Does anybody buy postcards on Amazon? I have no idea. Oh yeah, okay, that's cool. Oh really? I didn't know that. There was a portion of postcards, huh? Yeah, Card Cow, which I thought was I was using Card Cow to do research on cards initially in September and October, way back in the days of September when I started doing this. I didn't realize it was just another reseller. They had a nice card, a nice store, and almost every card I had, they had and had a price on. I'm like, oh, there's a comp. I just evaporate all your memories. That's right. You've been reduced to jello. About to hypnotize. Oh, Canada. Vintage Kaja is on the Bluetooth speaker while boarding and sleeving printed. There you go. There she is. How you doing, honey? Welcome. Welcome to the show. Don't tell my wife I ordered a pizza tonight. She'll be angry. But she'd be very happy to know I ate 6/8 of it. Oh, no, 4/6 of it. Charlotte is upstairs, cuddled in a ball in this frigid. He's not coming down to the basement at all. Basement is freezing. Other than I have a little portable heater thing that I have right down here. If not for this, I'd be upstairs too because it's cold down here. Being a basement and all, even though we have central heat down here, it doesn't do much because there's like one vent. Something has to be addressed. See these stupid ceilings we have? These drop ceilings. We only have one vent, which is to my left, and this is a pretty big basement. It goes way back, and like behind me is freezing. Temperature drops like 50 degrees. Had a girl. Was it good? He's upstairs in a ball, honey. Mrs. Flippett is on a special reconnaissance mission in Long Island right now, which is why I got to order my pizza without any grief. What is that book to your right, Beatles? This is not a book. This would be the Magical Mystery Tour box set. It came out a few years ago. Beatles Magical Mystery Tour. Nice glossy. Has a magnetic box. Actually, it does have a book within it. It's a box set. It has a book. It has Blu-ray and DVD of the movie with extras. And it has what I loved. What I got it for was this. It has a repress of the original EP in the UK. It's identical to the original with a 24-page color booklet. And then the 2 EPs. I just picked this up. My wife was kind enough to give me some money to buy records, which never happens. I was thrilled. For my birthday last week. So I went and I ordered a couple of things, and this one just came in. It's a Magical Mystery Tour box set. Link is below. No, the link is not below, but you can check it out on Amazon. Just look up Magical Mystery Tour box set. I think it came out in 2012. If anybody's interested, it's fantastic. I already watched the DVD, and I love the packaging is really nice too. So there's that. Yeah, good stuff, man. If you're a fan, and I'm a fan. And somehow I didn't get that. I don't know why. How that escaped me for 10 years, I have no idea. But I'm very happy I got it now. It's really nice. You supplied the funds to buy them for me. But I appreciate it, honey, very much. I still have a couple things coming in. One was a record was supposed to come in from Japan today, but it was delayed. Federal Express. But it's interesting to know. Mark, Popeye, Kelly, even if Kelly's been quiet, he's probably listening, which is a good thing. Amazon. You could buy postcards on Amazon? Sell postcards on Amazon? The heck you say? Search Amazon. Post cards. Do you have to write vintage postcards, maybe? Lots of lots. A bunch of lots, I see. A lot of lots. Almost all lots, anyway, on the first page. That's cool to know, though. You know, it's funny. Miss Flippett sort of says, you know, oh, I gave him money to buy the stuff, you know, which she did. But I go into my Amazon, and lo and behold, in our cart, unbeknownst to me, Mrs. Flippett slips in a $65 item in the cart. No heads up. It's there. $64.99. Let me see what this is. Oh, is that for the bathroom, honey? It's actually really nice. Mrs. Flippett could buy anything she wants. Life is short, you know. Shorter for some than others. You never looked. Yeah, I never even thought to look on Amazon, but Popeye's saying you could get postcards. Very good point, Morris. Absolutely. Hence the whole book thing we used to do in the bookstore. Maybe not in your house, but in my house, it's just building up towards one mammoth purchase down the road. Popeye with another link, utilizing his superpowers of the wrench. And what do we have? We have greetings from Tyler, Texas. Cool, man. 16 results. Now, Popeye, do you notice the scans of these postcards? It looks like most of them are trimmed, right? Some of them are. Sandman Hotel, North Dakota. It definitely doesn't show the whole card. That's interesting. I know Amazon is usually maniacal about their photo, you know, the white background thing, and everything has to be perfect. Is this all the card cow guy you sent me? Anyway, that's really good information. I had no idea one could sell postcards on Amazon. Oh, man, I would never dream of doing that. Let's see, each their own. Is that yours? Is that your stuff? I didn't even look. Split bills and have our own. To each their own. Good night, Karen. A weekend littered with cha-chings. I wish that for you, too. Thanks for coming in. Doesn't know how to get his own podcast. Yeah, what's up with that? Any sold? Amazon listed postcards. Any sold? Not sure how to check that. Interesting. Don't know. Got an offer on a Stetson hat ad from 1937. I'll accept that one right now. That's a sale. Got an offer for a 1946 Bear aspirin ad that I just listed yesterday. We're going to wait on that one. I'm going to send an offer really quick on this one. Postcard. British Columbia, Canada steamer ship. Chilcotin, Chilcotin, Chilcotin. You say Chilcotin, I say Chilcotin. All right, let's see what happens. Let's get some cha-chings here. Those Canadian ears of yours, Don. Got to get the snow out of there. Great point. I think it's mandatory across the board now, isn't it? The Congress passed that silly law. Maybe. Cod Cow has a lifetime Amazon rating. Interesting. Does anyone think that getting greeting cards up and coming collectibles such as... Oh, I know people absolutely sell. You're talking about now, collecting them now for the future? Greeting cards absolutely do sell. Is that a backdoor slam at postcards right there, saying they're better looking? Chappie, how dare you? Just sold a placemat. Congratulations, Purple Socko. Well done. Menus are a bolo. Sold some, especially Disney menus. We picked up, how many did we, if my wife is still watching? We went to Epcot again, of course, because we love Epcot. Ate dinner, and they had a special anniversary Little Mermaid menu. We grabbed a bunch of them for free. We just asked if we can keep them. They said, sure. I sold them all for like $50 a piece. So Disney menus, if you go to the restaurants, take a menu. Ask for a menu as a souvenir, and then sell them on eBay. Congratulations, Michael. It's just somebody paying. Hey, that counts. It's a cha-ching. That's what I'm saying. Is he really ripping on postcards? Please. That's right. They're just filler paper. No, like anything else, everything is collectible to somebody. What time are we looking at? 8:28. I am going to sign off here at 8:30, everybody. My eyes are dreary. It's been a long day without my baby, and probably going to call it a night. It's very cold. Going to go check on the dog, check on my dad. In that order. No, I'm not kidding. Check on them upstairs, make sure everybody's warm and dry and safe. Lock up for the night. I do have a big show coming up tomorrow in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania at the Kennett Flash. Really nice venue. Fourth or fifth time we're playing this. Sold out event. Can't wait. Sub-zero temperatures outside, but who cares? You get out of the car, you hold your breath, you run into the door, and you have a comfortable seat. You get some food and a beverage, and you enjoy the show. My wife will be there tomorrow night with my dad, which I'm really excited about. He hasn't seen our show in over a year. So it should be a good time. I'll report in on the activities and the events of tomorrow. Coming up on Monday's live show, 7 o'clock, Monday night. Hope you have a great weekend. Hope your sales continue to come through. Hope you're listing a lot of stuff on any platform you like. I'm not against Hip. I just wish they were much better. On that, we're going to call it a night. Again, thanks everybody for coming in. It is 8:30 on the East Coast. Have a great weekend. Good night. And thank you for joining me. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Bye-bye.